So, in the aspect of that, Carl, you can only imagine about two things of why there was so much blood. Is either one, Temper was flat out was killed and murdered there and then resurrected, or it was not just Temper's blood. Um, the other aspects that kind of made you not think that Temper was taken captive is that for the Brigandarth and for Jarlaxle Bonra, it's an unprecedented aspect. They are mercenaries. They are assassins. Especially at the time 4 years ago, the idea of taking captors or captives that were not just to be immediately used as a bounty or as some form of like reward to give upon someone else was just not actually heard of. If it was an aspect of, they did that and they messaged you and blackmailed you or tried to, extort the Waterson for money to get him back, that would fit within the MO. But the idea that there was no communication upon it, that any kind of small hidden chatter that you would have with Jarlaxle, he had even feigned the idea that he would apologize for having to take your friend's life. In that regard, like he would give you the full belief that Temper was also dead. Um,
Not that I ever pinned him down on it.
no,
'Cause,
no, but it's hard to pin anything down with Jarlaxle. He's a hard to read man. Um, but that's the only thing you feel like maybe you missed, and that maybe it was just an aspect of you coping and grieving that you just admitted to that you convinced yourself that Temper was dead because it made it easier for you to operate. It made it easier for you to cope and for you to keep going, and it made it easier to make Jarlaxle the villain in your mind that he always has been.
yeah, and I assume that one way or the other, that the trail ran cold, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
After that,
yeah.
very, very cold. So even if he had that, it didn't matter. Even if I thought he was alive, I did everything I could. And
There was no hint of Temper being anywhere else other than where you last saw him. The idea of where his body may be or anything like that um, was an aspect that you could never find any additional clues or anything in that regard. The only thing you kind of just dismissed it as is that Jarlaxle must have hidden the body or done something in particular with the body to remove its physical form.
okay,
But this kind of fills in that gap of a lot of questions you did have 4 years ago. Um, and now you're like, okay, cool. Well, now knowing this, that makes a lot more sense to these questions that I never could get proper answers on.
yep,
Or you're just sixth sensing it and just seeing a dead person.
that
Also, very very plausible.
plausible might be a stretch, but possible definitely. I do live with employ a ghost.
It is possible that that within your studies, it could be that he is dead and he's back as a revenant or some form of cursed undead spirit. So would not be the first nor the last in Waterdeep. But that'll eat up majority of your night, and probably to even breaking past midnight if you decide to dive too heavily both into your papers and your cups.
Yeah, he will have sent word down to the kitchen to make sure that not kitchen, but his staff to make sure he's awoke and bright and early, whether he wants to or not.
You do have a boat to catch.
Yes.
All right, and so Grit after. Or actually, Temper. Do you do beyond? Well, sorry, Ori. You have been you've left completely and are traversing the Waterdabian streets. What are you up to?
I'm gonna walk home.
All right.
To walk home, not even taking the most direct route, just lost in thought.
Okay.
Just wondering to myself, I'm gonna get home, go through the gate, and on my property, there's a lot of little ponds and things. I'm going to go and just lay in one for a few hours and just talk to myself, have a few little panic attacks, looking at Opal. Going to go on my first big adventure, huh? Can't trust any of them, but this is what I wanted, huh? This is my big adventure I always dreamed about. And then going under the water and just staying under the water as long as she can hold her breath. And then for another 30 seconds before choking, going above the water, gasping for air, crawling out and falling asleep.
In the pond?
Right outside of it.
Okay. All right. Of course, this gathering a fair amount of looks. Some just all too familiar with witnessing this your very homely estate on its large plot of land, a land that is just not as kempt as the rest of the seaward. Of course, two huge manors sitting to each side of your plot. Your whole segment looking very uncouth and out of place. Those who are not familiar giving very odd looks, very curious wonders as how you've gotten away with this, and others who are familiar with the area and familiar with the site, who, for the majority of them, pay you no mind as it has become a regular aspect with your estate being more in order over the past few years.
It's you can't see my estate from the street. It's completely covered on all sides by trees.
That wouldn't be possible, unfortunately. Waterdeep doesn't have that kind of foliage.
Oh, okay.
It's just such a dense, packed city. You could have like a very long plot, and you could have planted a tree, one or two trees yourself. But the idea is to plant that many trees. Unfortunately, wouldn't be able to last just because of how the roots would affect the roads and affect neighboring buildings.
Gotcha. Still doing it.
So yeah, you could definitely have like small trees for sure. Overgrown grass, absolutely.
All right.
Privacy hedges.
But yeah, but it's gonna be like a long plot. Pretty much, it's probably about in length. It is probably about 60 yards. In length, and then in width, it's probably close to about 40 yards.
Okay.
40 to 50. So it's a nice sizable plot for sure. But it's not going to be like something that's nothing in Waterdeep is actually insanely stately, like with like a winding path that leads up to the building. There are very few estates that have that, if any at all. And one of those that does have that would be the home of Mert.
Gotcha.
And that's because he built it well before a lot of other areas were even built. But majority of it is pretty tightly packed, just because of how the city has grown and developed over the past few hundred years.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, much more New York-like in that regard.
Gotcha.
But of course you're able to do so. The evening sun very easily baking and drying you off as you crawl out. And the gentle breezes on this summer night kind of cooling you down as you find rest outside the pond. All right, Temper. It's going to take you about an hour to repair the damages to your armor.
Yeah, probably thereabouts.
Okay. Do you do anything else with your evening?
I'm going to. It's still fairly early. What time is the ship sailing tomorrow? Is it just waiting for us, basically, or is it? Did we find out that it's leaving at, high noon or first light or what?
You were told that it would be ready for you before the sunrise. So you get the feeling that it is a ship that will be waiting for you and will depart on your word, and that it is good to go as early as possible.
Gotcha. Um, okay, then since it's kind of on our schedule, I'll wait to do what I want to do first thing in the morning. So um, I think after fixing his armor, he would just pull out his sketchbook and continue working on the sketch that he's been working on for the past few weeks, or few nights, sorry, and uh, and get a early start to bed so he can wake up bright and early in the morning before the sun comes up.
Gotcha. All right. And Grit, you eventually have a lovely plate of food that is brought your way for you to enjoy of mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, peas, onions, and assorted spices that are more local to the Waterdabian cuisine and import. And it's an absolutely soothing meal. Is there anything else you're looking to do with your evening? The festivities begin to awake within the tavern. Live music that's being put on by the tavern itself. Many persons raising tankards and celebrating Umberly on this second night of Fleet's Week.
I think I would spend the afternoon after eating and watching whatever shows, activities the inn puts on. I would retire to my room and take note of my things and make sure that I had everything in order for the trip tomorrow.
All right, so you go over your inventory and make sure that everything is in alignment to make sure that you're ready, which everything feels so. You double, you triple check. The only thing you have to check and confirm if it's ready is yourself. Rowan, after a long flight and the sun is hitting its last little flints of light across Waterdeep, you will find it is time to land. Where do you go to land, and where do you end your night?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. For some reason, I was like, I land back at the stables at Troll Skull,
Okay.
and I'll sleep there.
Snaggletooth, being very familiar, doesn't even wait for the hands to guide him as he goes and finds his same pen that he has now been using for 2 nights, grabs his own food, and treats himself to the luxuries that they provide.
He's spoiled.
Yep, definitely. Like, I don't know how one exactly spoils a griffin, but they do.
The stable hands, as they initially go to be like, wait, no, they find themselves very quickly not doing so, out of not wanting to provoke the anger or any form of aggression out of a griffin, and seeing that the griffin seems to just know what to do and know where to go, and they are going to let Snaggletooth do that.
I'll pack some feed for the journey.
Okay.
Probably should pack food too, but I didn't go shopping for any food.
It's okay. We'll just put a rope around your ankle and throw you into the ocean. You'll find something.
Maybe I can do that in the morning.
All right.
I sleep in Snaggy's pen with him.
All right. So you sleep within the stable with Snaggletooth. He curled around you he tosses his wing over like a lazy blanket over your small form. You familiar with it, of course. Pull it up into a more comfortable, tucking your under his wing under your arms. Probably your form a little bit more haphazard. You have like one arm thrown back, one arm thrown forward. I
I'm pretty
imagine.
comfy.
Yeah, I imagine Rowan is a very mouth breather kind of sleeper. Just
Maybe.
open up wide, just as if sleeping and fighting for air at the same time.
Sure.
But you will find rest, as the rest of you will also do the same. The next day will come, all of you finding anxiety waking you prior to sunrise, unless you feel that not to be just for your character. Who believes that they wake first?
Me.
All right, Ori, as you have this, you have the least amount of time that is needed to be in any form of trance or sleep. You will wake up well before the rise of the sun.
I'll probably wake up around midnight.
Well, if you spend a few hours contemplating inside the pond,
Right, yeah, you're right, my bad.
it's probably closer to about 2.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in to my home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pack my bags, take one last look at everything, close the door, some indentations, and I'm going to catch a ride down. Gonna message Orleg and be down by the dock as early as possible and just wait right by the gangplank.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Orleg provides you a ride down to the dock. You walk along the docks to see if you can make note of the ship that is destined to be yours, and then you do see it. It's definitely a ship that does not fit the standard array that is here, as it is that junk style ship, more rectangular in shape, a bit more ornate, has a particular bend to its bow, and of course very square sails that are of light blue coloration, as the ship itself has many accents of light blue, kind of sea and seafoam green accents to it, making it very festive. And looking more like a mercantile ship than anything else. You don't see really any hands on the ship moving. There seems to be a person who's in the crow's nest, and beyond that, there's no crew upon the deck of the ship.
Cool. I'm gonna have my new little outfit all ready, like a kid on the first day of school. And I'm gonna wait for everyone else to arrive.
All right. Do you wait just on the dock, or do you actually go onto the ship? How do you do anything particular?
I'm just gonna be on the dock.
All right. So then, with that, who thinks they are the next to wake?
I'll wake up.
Yeah, people would have been told to get me up bright and early.
Yeah, I went to sleep fairly early as well, so I would have been up.
Same.
All right. Then all of you will rouse around a similar time. What is anyone doing anything particular with the morning, or just mainly heading to a gathering area?
You go first.
Sorry. I want to go find a place to buy rations and potions.
As it is as early in the morning as it is right now, you may find a few places that are selling food this early that you can maybe find some rations on, but the aspect of potions, unfortunately, wouldn't be open until later in the day.
Damn it, I should have done this earlier in the 2 days we had.
But you may buy as many days worth of rations as you like.
I shall get 10. How much does that cost me?
It'll cost you 10. Well, are these of any particular quality?
No.
No, just kind of standard rations. You're not looking for anything that's nicer or higher quality, just fancier foods, just very basic.
Does Rowan look fancy to you?
Well, your dietary may change. Who am I to say or judge?
No, I just
You acquired a taste for spices.
Then it will cost you 10 gold. 10 dragons in particular.
10 dragons.
Of course, this food is well preserved and easy to elongate. So, like, even if you don't use all 10 rations the next 10 days, it has a long shelf life.
And I already packed some feed for Snaggy. I want to refill my water skin, that kind of thing. Just kind of prepare. And I guess not get any potions.
I mean, you can just wait until they open up.
Yeah, but I don't know how early I'm going to go back to Troll Skull to figure out when everyone's leaving for this to see if I have any time for potions or not.
Well, let's go back to everyone in Troll Skull. Grit, let's start with you.
I would probably take a moment to gather all my things I say all my things, but it's not much. My sack. And then make my way out to Fourier or wherever. Where I was close to sleeping where Sangfroid was, right?
Yeah, as far as I remember, it was
yes, you
down the
were.
hall.
You were one floor below Sangfroid.
Okay. I would check to see if he was up.
All right, so Sangfroid, you'll have a knock upon your door.
Who is it?
It's me, Grit.
Good morning, Grit. And I walk to the door and open it.
Good morning.
I take it you slept well.
About as well as any night.
Do you have everything ready for the trip?
Everything that I have.
All right, well, I have a few last-minute things I'd like to take care of, so I'll just meet you at the ship later today, yeah?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Travel safe. And Temper will turn back around and collect all his things. And then I'm going to slip back on the ring. This is I never really bothered to ask. So my ring is just a general ring of disguise, correct?
It is a general ring of disguise. It does have, of course, another unique feature to it, where it masks you can use it on your voice alongside with your form.
Yeah. So I'm going to change my form and voice to match that of Calvin Waterson, and I'm going to grab my things and make my way out the Troll Skull Manor.
What?
All right. And so, so Rowan, as you fly back, you will see exiting Troll Skull Manor, Calvin.
Can I approach him?
Of course. And with that, before we get to that, Calvin, what are you doing?
Grouchily finishing throwing stuff in my sea chest, making sure I have the stevedores on the way to carry it away. I start making my way down to the tavern for a quick bite before heading to the ship.
Now, Calvin, do you believe that you woke up on your own accord, or do you believe that one of your workers woke you up?
Actually, probably a bit of both. The worker would have been a precaution, but when one of my feats does give me the, dead reckoning for when sunset, sunrise is.
Of course. Now, if you're waking with sunrise, right now everyone's mainly waking before sunrise. And if you are the idea is you will wake up before sunrise because you have one of your hired hands that would wake you prior. Well, we'll get back to that. So, Temper, as you walk down, you'll see one of the servants coming up and see you and will be like, "Oh, Master Waterson, you're already up. Wonderful."
Indeed, as you were.
Yes, I will go back. Do you need some breakfast?
I'll get some out this morning, but thank you.
Oh, very well. And they will scamper away. Meaning that Calvin does not get his wake-up call.
I didn't know there was a wake-up call. Well.
All right, Rowan, you swoop down from the skies and seeing Calvin in this early morning, the sun not yet peaked, that the dust still in your eyes, the awkward air of a day that is not yet a day, still thick and permeating.
Calvin!
Good morning, Rowan.
How How much time do we have before we have to be on the ship? I was wondering if I could buy some potions before we leave. Do we have any time for that or no?
I would believe so, but you'd have to go inside and ask Temper.
Why would I have to ask Temper?
He's the one that arranged the ship, so he would know better than I.
By the way, Calvin, how do you feel about Temper?
I won't lie. I don't think I'm quite ready to process it all at the moment. I'm going to need to sleep on it some more, but I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
But I have some errands to attend, so I'll see you at the ship.
All right. Rowan leaves. She goes upstairs to find Temper.
All right. You head up the stairs to find Temper. Grit, where are you going during all this?
I would probably be headed downstairs to find some food to go, since it is morning time.
There probably would have been rations set up for, a couple of days of decent feed ready to go.
Yeah, and with the expectation of what is to be, they already have a fair amount of food ready in the morning for you between different selections of meats, fruits, and juices, other proteins as well. So you are able to go downstairs and be immediately served with food, and the instant gratification just makes the morning that much more delightful. So, Temper / Calvin, where do you head?
I'm going to, slowly stroll my way through the city, heading towards the sea or dockward where the ship is docked, and probably grab if there's morning stands that are selling food for breakfast. Stop and grab a bite to eat, and lazily make my way to the yawning portal.
All right. You definitely can find breakfast on the way. Different areas offering such delicacies such as quail's eggs or Welsh rabbit, and other aspects, fresh preserves and jams, and different aspects. Things that are more ready on the go, and other things that we have to sit down and enjoy. But the idea of getting a delectable breakfast matching whatever palate you like, you absolutely can do. You have many, many persons that you walk by who say hello to you and greet you in the early morning with with vigor and energy that just doesn't exist in the air. It seems that during this time, during Fleet's Wake, many people are just operating at all times, as Waterdeep is already tend to be such a location that incurs such activity. This seems to be a bit more readily done so, and by persons of all class, because of the festivities bringing everyone involved into them.
It's my first time seeing it as well.
True. But you'll be able to make your way there. It's going to be a bit of a long walk.
Yep. I gave myself plenty of time to lazily stroll and get there, by the time it opens for the morning crowd.
Yes, and it will take you about 3 to 4 hours to walk there.
Yep.
And if you're going on a slower pace, definitely closer to 4. And at that point, the sun will have definitely risen in that regard. So we will definitely get back to that with you with the yawning portal. Let's go back to Rowan trying to find Temper.
Okay.
So Rowan, you head up the stairs. As you go in, you're back inside Troll Skull Manor, and you realize from here you're not sure where you're going.
Is there a servant around?
No, in this particular part of the building, there are no immediate servants that come and service his quarters, unless it's on Calvin's accord. So this area is a bit more devoid of helping hands in that regard. But of course, this is a familiar part of the building. You do know that there is a guest suite on the first level. There are 2 bedrooms on the following level, and those are the majority of the bedrooms that are here. There are other locations that can be used to said bedrooms, but you know those are the 3 distinctive actual bedrooms that exist within this entire establishment, within this portion of the establishment.
I just start knocking on doors and calling for Temper.
All right, so you go in the first one, knock, 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 calling for Temper. That first door would be Grits, who's not there but down, eagerly eating to his full consumption down in the tavern. So you then make your way upstairs, knocking on what would be Temper's door to bum, 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 calling out his name. At this point, Calvin, you find yourself slowly and lazily being stirred awake as you're hearing Rowan pounding upon doors, loudly shouting for Temper. You can tell.
I realize that I have overslept, and immediately jerk up and start throwing shit together.
So Rowan, as you're knocking on Temper's door, you then hear like the sudden footsteps come from the room behind you, and then you just hear like the quick gathering of material. So there's rapid movement happening in the other room.
I go to that room and I knock on the door.
So boom, 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 and do you call out for Temper?
I'm like, Temper, are you in there?
It's like, come in, Rowan.
Would you hear the voice of Calvin telling you this?
I'm like, Calvin? And I open the door.
And you'll see Calvin putting together just a satchel and like a satchel of just different materials.
And I'll be like, but I just saw you downstairs leaving. How'd you get back up here?
I stop and I look at her. It's like, coming from where? Going to where?
I don't know where. You said you had to run errands.
And you were looking for Temper, you said?
Yeah, because you told me that Temper knew when the boat was leaving, and I was trying to figure that out.
I made sure to figure out how the boat was leaving independently of Temper as soon as I figured.
Right now, am I talking to you?
Yes, and I pull my pistol out of my stash, check to make sure it's loaded, grab my weapons, my sword belt, buckle it on, and leave. Let's go find Temper. And I go directly to where his room is.
Okay.
I do not knock.
As you open the door, you will find none of Temper's belongings inside.
The bed was made, though.
The room is nice and kept.
I proceed to go downstairs.
I follow Calvin.
As you do the same to Grit's room, is Grit a clean person?
Depends
Kind
on
of. The bed wouldn't be pristine, but the room, there would be like no drawers open or anything like that.
So there's a few small items that are kind of tossed about on top of a dresser. Some personal belongings you can imagine of Grit. The bed, the sheet has been pulled back up, but it has not been like made and tucked and pressed. The pillows have not been. The pillows are obviously in the same position that they were from the night of sleep, but it is a kept well enough room. Obviously, whoever's been staying in here took in some consideration, but not like the utmost must make this look like I was never here kind of consideration. Which you can tell this was Grit's room, and that he is not present.
Yep. I will go downstairs, check the bar.
Where you will see Grit happily eating.
I'll sit down next to him, wait over some food for myself. And it's like, have you seen your traveling companion today?
Oh, He was in his room last time I saw him.
He is not any longer.
Will it also be known at this point that you have, as you may have first made a recognition of this, you definitely do at this point. Every day that you have spoken to Grit, his voice has been very distinctively different.
Okay, I was wondering if that was just even being weird,
Nope.
or if that was a thing.
Well,
Thank
I
you
mean,
for
it
letting-
is, but weird for a reason.
Yeah.
So when you first heard it, you thought maybe you just didn't, you didn't really hear him talk all that much in the first day, and maybe he was covering his voice. But now, as you hear this voice that is so much more shrill and has so much more of a definitive accent that was completely different than the one he had before, you realize that he's either very good at voices or his voice is changing on a regular basis.
Not to press, but your voice, different than it was yesterday. I have an ear for these things. Is there a cause?
Sorry, what?
Is there a cause?
Oh, I have a condition.
Oh. Insight on that, just because I gotta know.
Sure. You can make an insider, you can make a medicine.
Please be puberty.
That insight will be a 27.
So Grit does not seem to be lying to you, of course. Grit seems to be maybe withholding information, maybe not just telling you the whole thing. Not that you need to look too hard to maybe realize that, but you also realize that you just don't know about a lot of magical diseases and magical effects, or you doubt it's anything natural, but at the same point you also have zero familiarity with kobold culture or with their physiology. You've not known that to be a trait of kobolds, but
it doesn't seem like it's dishonest, possibly deflective.
yes. That's the way to put it. It's befuddling for sure.
Yes.
It's like, well, if it's one that, if you find it an affliction, and there's anything I can do to help with it, let me know. We don't have terribly long till we, have to set sail, but I have resources.
Where's Temper at?
He's running errands, apparently.
Do you think Temper is pretending to be you?
Stands to reason.
Why would he do that?
I really don't want to guess.
This seems fishy. I don't like it.
Yes, well, he has enough of a lead on us, and I genuinely do not know where he might be headed.
He's acting like Jarlaxle.
Are you sure he's not?
No.
Only in that if he was Jarlaxle would have pulled. I feel would have pulled this card on us earlier.
And you probably wouldn't be standing there.
Do you think I have time to try to get potions, Calvin, or is the ship leaving soon?
But was the ship leaving soon?
The ship was made to be ready before the sun even rose, and it is leaving upon Sangfroid arriving and giving order to depart.
Okay.
So
When's the ideal tide going to happen? Which is something Kelvin would keep track of.
So with Waterdeep and how the islands surround it, and the fact that the waters here are enchanted, that has luckily been less of an issue. But at the current time of the year and everything, the best time for leaving this area where the waters would be the best for it would be late morning right now. late morning, late morning, or in late afternoons before prior to early evenings. Those are your two best times at the current moment.
I suspect not. I think we should make haste to the ship, lest Temper tries to cut us out of the expedition.
Yeah, he
He
didn't.
did not.
He didn't seem too friendly towards us. I don't understand.
Well, you left. We were making our stand, and then we weren't. I suspect he may harbor some hard feelings about that.
Rowan kind of pouts and is like, yeah, I mean, he didn't have to stay behind, though.
He thought he did. I thought we did.
I guess it's good I carried you out of there then.
You may have saved my life, but you did take away my choice. I wouldn't have left a friend there to die. I was not going to.
I didn't think he would stay. And
Yes, well,
Jarlaxle promised he wouldn't kill anybody.
then it appears he may have been true to his word.
Yeah, that's confusing. I don't know what to think of that.
I can't tell you what to think about it. I know that I still think he poses a grave threat to the city. And Temper thinks he poses enough of a threat to have come back. So, and he just lapses and just kind of shakes his head.
Well, I'm willing to see, to try to find out what Jarlaxle's up to.
Yes. I think we all would like to know.
I'm sorry, Calvin.
I accept your apology. We'll see what we can do with it.
And
And
I'll meet you at the dock.
Kelvin puts a hand out gently, kind of on your shoulder, and be like, and I do thank you. I don't suspect I would have survived that day.
Rowan just kind of nods and shuffles off.
Complex emotions.
Such complex emotions.
Did I do that?
Actually, no. This is mostly Rowan's fault.
All right. So what do you three do from here?
I stuff some food in my face, and then get some people stronger than I to cart my sea chest to a cart and get myself to the dock ward.
Yeah, I head to the dock.
Grit, do you join with?
Yeah.
You would provide a vessel and trip, and be able to make it down to the dock ward. At this point, it would be about 2 hours after sunrise when you arrive. With that, we're gonna go back to Ori prior to sunrise. Ori, after about an hour of relaxing upon the dock, you would see a lot more hands start coming onto the docks itself, attending several ships. You would notice that the person who's up in the crow's nest of the Tidecaller would very, very, very quickly descend down the mast with just phenomenal agility and land upon the deck. And almost with a skip to their step, they would be bounding off and in your direction as you'd see some other persons coming from below the deck, beginning to start prepping the ship and preparing things and checking on things. As this person gets closer, you realize they're very short in stature, probably under 5 feet in height, and it becomes very apparent that they are Tabaxian origin, as they have this tortoise, like kind of orange and brown tortoiseshell cat appearance, with these just like flares of orange and brown in their face, very much with the division down the middle, but like little tufts of orange that interrupt into the brown, little flickers of brown that interrupt into the orange. That gives them this very mottled appearance within their fur. Um, their tail looking a little short, maybe the tip cut off at some point. And in female in nature, you can see her bounding over to you with an energy that is just vibrant and very youthful. As she gets closer, you can see she's got like an engorged, like more like a bugged out eye that has 3 gold piercings on her eyebrow above. She has both of her ears. You'll notice out of her right one, there's a little chip, there's a little nick into it that goes pretty deep, about almost halfway through the portion of the ear, and then around that portion of the ear, she has lots of earrings. And other ears, she probably has about 5 earrings over there. As she wears 2 golden collars, she seems to be just kind of bedazzled in different forms of golden jewelry. Has a bit of a crooked, a little of this, like a little fang that kind of pokes out of her mouth. Not very prominent, but as you kind of watch her come up, she bounds up to you. Now, are you sitting? Have you been sitting while waiting, or have you been standing about?
I've been sitting.
So she would kind of bound on over, and she would plant with a wide stance, put her hands on her hip, and she'd bend over like from the waist. And she wouldn't bend over too much because even you're even when sitting, you are pretty tall in nature, but enough that she gets closer to eye, with this kind of smirk upon her face. You can see that she has a very toned physique, a person who's definitely very active to a physical life, and she looks at you and says, "And are you one of the people that I'm taking?"
I sure am. My name's Ori, and it's my first day of being a pirate. By the way, I need to explain what I'm wearing.
Go right ahead.
I'm wearing silk pants, very loose fitting, that are like a deep blue.
All right.
I'm wearing a shirt, a long sleeve white shirt with lots of ruffles, sort of like a deep cut V, lots of ruffles. A very large pirate, like Three Musketeers hat with lots of feathers coming off of it.
Okay.
And an eye patch. And I have made an eye patch for Opal.
Okay. All right. You are looking very Jarlaxle in the moment right now, actually. With that, you're gonna see her, and she'll put her hand on out to kind of like help you up and to greet you. And she goes, "Well, I'm Nemi. I'll be your captain."
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah. Now I don't know about this pirate business, but you're welcome aboard my ship.
Well, I'm not really a pirate. I'm actually a wizard.
It's okay. Me too.
Oh, then we'll get along then.
Yeah, but I'm a liar. I'm not a wizard. I can't do magic. That shit's crazy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm waiting on my friends. Have you gotten word from any of them?
Nope. My crew's getting the ship together. It's gonna be ready to go anytime, whenever you're ready. Anytime. It's good to go. I have a great crew, and we have plenty of food. I made sure to stock up for everybody. So yeah. But I was just told that we're waiting for a person named Sangfroid, and once he gets here and says it's time to go, is when we go. But you're the first I've seen. Are you Sangfroid?
No, but it's actually really weird. I want to lean in like I'm whispering. His name is actually Temper.
Her ear kind of just like flickers.
Very weird.
Okay, well that's good to know. Then Sangfroid or Temper.
Or he's wink very large.
And at this point, if you're standing, she only being 4'11" is like, or Temper. We will wait on them and go on their word. Yeah, feel free to come aboard. You won't really get in the way. and we got lots of little things, plenty to drink.
Fantastic. Is there anything I could do to help? Being my first day as being a real pirate.
Yeah. You could go plunder other ships. Actually, don't do that. I don't need that on my conscience.
Yeah, probably not good. I want to be like not a mean pirate.
Not a mean pirate.
It's just called a sailor.
Could copy other people's ideas. Huh?
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, that sounds good. But I mean, if you wanna, I mean, sometimes we need extra hands. If you got, you look like you got some muscle on you, and she kind of like gently like pushes, like this, like gives you a gentle nudge on your scrawny as hell arms. So yeah, you could maybe help them out with that. But nah, we got this. We're a crew of 36, so we're good. We're good.
When I'm up in the crow's nest, I'll shoot off a lot of fireworks and things when I see my friends coming.
Sure, if you want to go up there and see them and then get in the signal, yeah, fireworks are the signal. Then I'll know that I'll be ready to greet them and let them know that I'm Captain Nemi Namora of the Tidecaller. Did I look cool?
Very cool. And I'm gonna make like lights and rainbows shoot up behind her.
She kind of like just pumps her shoulders with it.
I'll do that for you too when they get here.
Good. First impressions are everything, and I need to make sure I look good for them. This is something that I'm doing for Laeral Silverhand, and well, she's a big deal. So, yeah.
Well, I won't take your time anymore, and I'm gonna kind of run up the gangplank.
Yeah, she kind of just skips. She kind of just like full on just jogs back up, and just like jumps up the gangplank onto the ship. And you can see her immediately go into her crew, just like saying good morning, referring to a lot of them directly by name, and just being like, "Cool, so do you need to tackle this, that?" And then you can see her just going and correcting what people are doing, with just kind of this vibrant energy. And it's where you like watching her, you can tell like she's just a master at her craft. Like she's bouncy and she's energetic, but like she just has an absolute love for the inner workings of ships. And
I need Nemi Namora's energy.
don't
That's
we
what I
all?
need in
Don't
life.
we all? And so yeah, so with that you'll be able to watch and you'll be able to dictate that at any time. With that, I think we are going to go back to Temper. Calvin, Rowan, and Grit, you will arrive to the dock before Temper, but we're going to go to Temper first, as Temper is leisurely taking their time and then making their way to the yawning portal.
Indeed.
All right, Temper. So after a few hours have passed, the sun is definitely risen. The streets have become filled with smells, aromatics, and many vendors
And
ready to sell wares for the next day of Fleet's Wake. This day, of course, there are still more boat races to be had, along with a few other events and festivities, especially as they begin to prepare the streets with more decorations for the parade tomorrow. You make your way to the yawning portal, and it is already bustling. You walk in, just immediately hit in the face with wafts of just salmon and other kind of saltwater fishes, which I know it's a freshwater fish, but fuck it. And just other aspects of the delightful just noise and aroma. People already making bets. The betting board that is usually designated for those who go down into Undermountain, for their dead pool, it has now turned into more betting pools. Is now turning very much more betting pools for like who's going to win the races today, who's going to lose the races today, at what odds, and things like that. As there are many sections where you can see around the tavern each of the colors and each of the flags representing each of the wards. So people are very much getting into the spirit, especially since the yawning portal sits on the corner of multiple wards. It becomes a great place for people to convene and be a little competitive, especially between the Castle Ward, the Trades Ward, the Dock Ward, and the Southern Ward. So, with that, what do you do while there?
When I walk in, I'm going to take in the sights for a few minutes, kind of wistfully look over the familiarity of it all, and walk over to the actual yawning portal and kind of peer over the edge down into the depths, just for old time's sake, so to speak. Thinking back to the sight of a troll making its way out of it.
All right, you go to this dead center of this entire establishment, looking down this 40-foot diameter hole that just is a gaping maw within this 3-story tavern that this is. And as you look down, the gentle, eerie winds that blow up from a mysterious dungeon that lie below, as the sun is creeping in and light begins to fill the rest of the room. As you look down, seeing nothing but pure darkness and a void that has no bottom.
Yep. And then after taking a few moments to do that, I'll look back up and scan the immediate vicinities, specifically the bar area, to see if I spot Durnan anywhere.
You'll definitely see Durnan. He's tending to a few people at the bar. You see him talking to a few of their barmaids, kind of telling them direct what areas they need to be focusing on. You see him bouncing from there to the kitchen, directing cooks and making sure they've got what they need. He seems to be a bit moving about, but if you make your way towards him, he will make note of you.
I'll find a spot along the bar where there's kind of at the end of the bar, or somewhere where there's kind of a space where I'm off a little bit away from the majority of the crowd. That would, whenever he has a moment, would make his way over to speak to him.
So you see him head over to one of the barrels. He fills it with ale for some people who are jumping into their cups a little early. He'll see you, he'll nod, kind of do a general salute at you, and speak aloud. Calvin, see you're here early. Is this for business or this for pleasure?
Mostly just for pleasure. I'm about to ship out today on a important mission, so I just wanted to come by and give my regards to you and for the rest of Fleet's Wake. I know it's a very busy time for you here.
Mm-hmm. Well, give me a second. I'll be able to tend to you. And you see him kind of go off and leave you for a moment. As you look around the bar again, you can hear the stringings of a mandolin. As across the way, you'll see another familiar face, 3 strings, who seems to still be performing here, and it just trying to liven up the early morning with some light playing. And he's much more in tune than the last time you remember. So that's
Gotten
good.
better over the last couple of years.
Yeah, thank God, right?
We'll take note of it.
Yeah. But after about 5 minutes or so, he makes his way back over to you. Okay, what can I get for you?
Well, I have to say I'm a bit nervous about sailing, so an ale would probably be appreciated. Quell the nerves a bit.
Never knew you to be a morning drinker, but if it helps you get your sea legs, I can understand that.
These are strange times.
You need any food with that? I'd recommend it. If you're gonna hit the seas, gotta make sure you got that full stomach, especially if you're putting some ale in it.
I actually stopped at a few places along the way and had myself a nice breakfast, but I appreciate the offer.
Oh, you do me dirty, Calvin. Do me dirty.
I got hungry on the way.
But he goes and he quickly
for the record, Calvin would never.
over here tarnishing Calvin's good name.
Yep.
He goes and he gets you a fine ale. He doesn't go for like the bottom of the barrel, kind of like this like brewer. He gets you something like pretty in the middle. And he tosses you the frosty mug of it, and he says it's on the house. If you're heading out, let's just say it's a drink for safe travels. All right.
I'll toast to him before taking my first sip. A fairly deep one.
It hits so differently. It is a taste of just like nostalgia and familiarity. As soon as you let it hit and it runs down your throat, it's almost as if you feel transposed to 4+ years ago. It's very odd. It's very surreal. and it takes you a moment. You almost feel like your heart racing a little bit, and you have to take some longer breaths to bring yourself back into normalcy before you take the next sip. And with that next sip, the current reality it seeps into its flavor, and a bit of a bitterness grows with it.
Yeah, I'll take a few moments to kind of stare into my drink as I let all of that kind of pass over and get through it before speaking again. I wanted to ask before I left because I'll be honest, when you came over the other day, it made me realize that I never really bothered to ask many questions initially. But do you know why Bonnie left?
You said,
She
and you seem like, yeah, that'll be coming out soon. You need another L, yeah, I got you. And he looks over. Yeah. Do I know why Bonnie left? I mean, somewhat. I think each person kind of deserves the privacy for why they choose to go where they please. But
of
I'd
course.
be a liar if I didn't say my curiosities for someone who's worked in my establishment for so long wasn't there. He takes a nail, passes over, comes over to you, and just relaxes a little bit. Uh, but I think she was feeling confident finally to go and experience a bit more, learn a bit more, and just get out there and actually do something. And well, I'm proud of her for it. So,
It's certainly honorable,
hmm?
but just surprising was all, considering the uh, nice life that she seemed to be establishing for herself here.
She had a fine life here. She had a job, made money, had a place to sleep, good home. You know, I liked having her here. I liked taking care of her. That's for sure. I missed the heck out of her. But after everything, then especially with with temper, I think temper kind of helped her to realize that there's a lot of opportunity in the world, a lot of possibility, and she had been operating too much on her mistakes, and then she started just doing what everyone else does. So I think she felt the need to go and do her own thing, start her own adventure. So it I think it was surprising for all of us, but I think it was the right thing. I'm sure she's fine wherever she may be, and whenever
Of
she
that,
comes
I have
back,
no doubt.
thanks to you, she's got a large sum waiting on her.
Yeah, it was part of the reason I was so surprised that she decided to leave, considering I knew that she would be coming into things quite well with everything that she was left. So it was just a bit surprising, like you said, but I'm sure she's fine doing whatever it is she's doing. And
Oh yeah, and I'm not one to talk, but money isn't everything, to some at least. Uh,
too
so
true.
you know, we there we're all looking for treasure, one kind or the other, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. All right.
But
Well, I gotta get back to business. Appreciate the conversation. Trip down nostalgia lane. I wish you luck in your journeys. Surprised that you're leaving during such a week. Uh,
you're not the only one.
yeah, but hope you get back soon. Where you heading to?
North.
North. Well, sounds like it's probably important then.
I sure hope so.
Well, cheers to that. And he pulls like a large flask he has on his side, and he taps it for you. You see him
And
just
I'll
kind of turn it up and pour it open, and it's just water.
I will bottoms up mine as well and chug the rest in, a couple quick gulps.
All right. Um, as then he'll leave and go back to servicing. You'll notice that the mandolin playing has gotten louder.
Okay.
And as you turn around, you see that Three Strings has become much closer to you. And as you turn and kind of watch him just for a brief moment, you see him look at you and make eye contact. Um, and he nods at you.
I'll give him a hearty
Okay.
Waterdabian.
With that, he'll begin playing, but stepping further away, and then he kind of softens his playing, just kind of lowering his intonations, and make his way over to you. And he says, Calvin, it's good to see you.
You as well.
A
You,
lot's been
you,
going on.
you sound good.
I, for the record,
Uh-huh.
most and in my intimate agents, I would have a a, a code system to
So let me
something.
you and I are about to go private real quick.
Okay.
Oh wait.
Oh, you getting found out?
Oh wait.
What the hell?
Sorry,
Okay.
Chris.
No, I was assuming there's probably something like this, but we hadn't discussed it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it would come up, so I haven't gone in super deep on my spy crafting.
Yeah, but then this happened, so you know.
Yeah, it's
What do
probably
you think it would be? Like, in what aspect?
uh, it would just be rotating code words just to provide some pretense of uh, uh, identity confirmation, especially since I know that basically because I'm super aware of all the various shape changers that are running around this city and the people who are great at illusions and disguises. So this is important. So it would just be say a code word, hear it back,
So,
kind of
yeah,
exchange, and it would be designed to be something that would be relatively subtly fit into a conversation.
gotcha. This is probably gonna be a bit more abrupt and blunt. So try to think of something on top of my head. So how about the equivalent of how many dragons can you find in a hidden vault? And the answer being 500,001.
Okay, works for me.
Yeah, just because that way can campaign, it gives him an opportunity to maybe figure it out, which is fun. Um, because only a select, very, very select amount of people would know how many coins it were, and then to also add in RNX. But we'll go from there.
Works.
We already figured out that you've been pretending to be Calvin. Roan's not too happy
Yeah.
about that.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So he does he looks at you and he's like, I'm glad to see you say what he says and he kind of looks at you a bit strange. He says a lot's been going on. Oh, but where's my manager? I have a question for you. A riddle, if you will, something to stimulate your morning mind.
I'm gonna, after having finished to the bottom of the glass, I'm gonna set it down on the counter for Dernan or whoever whenever they get it.
So
I'm sure you do. I unfortunately do not have time to answer your riddle right now.
oh, I'm sure you have time. It's well worth it. I promise.
I promise you I don't, because I really need to get going. I have a ship that's setting sail as we speak that I must get to.
No. You can't be leaving Waterdeep.
Unfortunately, I have to. It's of dire importance. I can't even speak about it. I'm going to start walking towards the door. I'm trying to end this conversation.
Let me make a roll for him real quick. That is not a great roll. He's gonna get a 14 on persuasion.
Okay. Do you want me to roll deception?
You don't. No. Persuasion. He's trying to convince you.
Oh. So I just roll an opposing persuasion?
No, you take it as you will.
Oh.
Consider whatever DC in your head, or don't have a DC at all. Of how much it would take to sway you. Whether that's an impossible sway of like 30, 35, or anything like that. But he says, I implore you to give me a moment. It is of importance. Both the riddle and what I have to say and share. Please.
I'm sure it is, but there are plenty of other people you can give this riddle to. I really must be going.
No, there's actually not. Uh, at least answer this before you go, please, if you can. Do it for me, for our long relationship that we've had.
I'm facing him, but I'm just slowly walking backwards.
He's
Trying to do that where you walk away and the conversation thing, but
yeah,
it's still paying attention to him.
he very much recognizes that and is sticking to you. He's being
Yeah, I'm
very
sure.
very obstinate. He says, how many dragons can you find in a secret horde?
It's a very good question. One I assure you I do not have time to discuss. It is not the time.
You have a good day. Take care. I wish you the best of luck on all your journeys. He immediately just turns.
And I just look very confused and just thank my lucky stars that that's over with and leave. And as I walk out through the door, I'm changing my form from Calvin to Sangfroid.
All right.
So I don't get stopped again by some other fan of Calvin's.
You do find a momentary pause into where you can go somewhere to alter your form back to Sangfroid. As with that, we'll go back to Calvin and Rowan and Grit. The three of you, Rowan, of course, flying in, will be the first thing that Ori will notice.
Shooting up some firebolts up in the air.
You notice immediately while looking down the deck of the ship, you'll see Nemi Namora, who will see that go off. Her ears immediately just perk up, and she just bolts it, hopping over like the banister from where the wheel is, dropping about 10 feet into a tumble, and just like hops almost through the entire gangplank onto the main deck, and starts like rushing to the end, and immediately gets into the same power pose that she greeted you with. With that, Rowan, you do. Are you there, Rowan? Virginia? Did she go to the bathroom?
Don't know.
I just want to say that I'm getting very Outlaw Star vibes from this captain.
Well, okay. Well, I don't. I'm not sure where she left. So Rowan is deciding to take a long flight path around the whole thing. So instead, Calvin and Grit will show first. As you pull up with your small wagon of material and stuff, you will see this same short, brown and orange tabaxi greeting you, and you'll notice all their clothing seems to be very similar to that of a deckhand, maybe a bit more ornate. It's all very light blue with some gold trim and some little like sea green accents. Her outfit very much matches the colorations of the ship. But
Which was like what, blues and grays, right?
blues and sea greens,
Okay.
like a seafoam green.
Great. So I showed up matching too.
Yep.
More or less.
But she can see that she's doing like that. She has like these nice like pants that like just sort of surrounded with pockets all over them. You can see a lot of them have all sorts of material on it. And then she has like that. She's got like a bound of rope on one side, and she's just like wearing a vest, her arms exposed, just kind of showing off her very athletic figure. And she puts her hands on her hips, and she says, "Welcome to the Tidecaller. I am your captain, Nemi Namora."
Rainbows and light.
You can see
Calvin
her face like light up with the lighting.
Hides his eye roll of Ori's theatrics with his bow. It's like a pleasure to meet you, Captain Namora. Calvin Waterson.
She says, "Oh, my pleasure." And did you extend a hand out?
Yes.
She takes your hand. She does grab, and she grasps with two hands, and she just gives it like one hard shake that like causes your arm to like go rubbery. and then she just pats it and lets go. And she's like, okay, so you are not Sangfroid or she comes up to you and says, or Temper, right? You said you're Calvin of Waterson, right?
Calvin will
I feel like I know
kind
the
of,
name.
yeah, his eyes will glint for a bit, kind of a little hard, and then just go surprised. It's like, no, I am not Sangfroid. He should be arriving in not too terribly long, however.
Oh, okay, okay. She's like, I'm so sorry. I feel like I should know you from somewhere. Have we met before? Your name just rings a bell, and the fact that I'm not remembering it makes me feel really guilty.
It's all right. My family is a little known in the city.
Oh,
Your travels take you places where that doesn't matter.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. Well, welcome. You're the second to arrive, and then that makes you the third. Looking at Grit. Pleasure to meet you. Welcome to the Tidecaller. What's your name?
My name's Grit.
Grit. I like it. It's easy. I won't forget that. Actually, everyone's name's been easy. I love it. It's amazing. Wow. I'm used to people being named like Aaron Anthedal or something. Maybe that sounds a little racist. I'm sorry. I like elves, it's just sometimes their names are hard to remember. You know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up now. Welcome to the ship. Make yourself aboard. We're all ready to set sail. Everything's been ship shape. Yep. So as soon as Sangfroid arrives and says that we can go, then we will go.
Perfect. If someone could just show me to my billet.
Yeah, of course. I will do it myself, please. And she notices some of the heavy trunk wear that you got, and she just goes over and just lifts it.
That works. She'll take it out of the hands of the two guys that I brought.
Mm-hmm. And she'll just like take it herself. She go, oof. All right. You come prepared.
I try.
She's like, all right. Well, I'm glad to know that you're ready for this long voyage. Oh, it's only like 10 days, nothing bad. And she starts, she's like trying to like joyfully and like jubilantly move with these large pieces of like trunkware. Obviously, she can't. So, but you can see that she is struggling a little bit. It's not a hard struggle. She carries it, and she leads you onto her ship and down below deck to show where your quarters are.
Hi, Calvin! You're gonna see Ori waving from the crow's nest.
Hello, Ori.
Hi,
His tone is dripping. Calvin's tone is just dripping with honeyed venom and irritation.
Yeah. And when after that, she'll whisper to you, "She let me know you were coming. That's where the rainbows came from."
She enjoys that.
I mean, I enjoy that. That's great. It's just such a the bit of sunshine and rainbows in your early part of the day. I mean, all I want are clear skies. I'm really giving.
Out of curiosity, how close are we is the ship to the dump point from the ceremony?
It's further south.
Okay. Then I'm gonna turn. It's like, yes, I'm really willing, and I'm literally just gonna yeet a gold coin off in the general direction of, that site.
And as you do that, she's gonna see you toss the coin. She's just gonna yell, "Yeah, take that, you bitch!" And you see most of the crew kind of cracking up at it. The crew is a very mixed, but there's definitely many deckhands that are here that are just most of them are right now just kind of relaxing. They're not really doing too much. They seem to be moving very leisurely.
How big is the ship?
Let me actually. You know what? We might as well move to that map.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Oh, but I was going to go to so many other places.
I go insult Calvin's family, make sure he gets disowned.
Just go to all the shopkeepers around Troll Skull and just tell them how much I hate being their neighbor.
All right. So from stern to bow, it is 175 feet.
Okay.
What's a big ship?
Yep, and it is 45 feet wide.
Okay.
So this is a little larger than a standard galleon or standard galley ship.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my unerring eye to sweep everybody within 30 feet of me to see if I see anybody not being what they appear.
As you do that, you realize they're all Trollaxel.
I mean,
But you already
this
knew
doesn't.
that.
Yeah, this
Does
doesn't.
Rowan appear yet? Because I was on Snaggletooth.
Well,
You would have been
You literally disappeared.
The
so
moment I introduced you, you had left for food.
Yeah, sorry
So
about that.
it's no worries. You just took a roundabout way. Snaggletooth got distracted by like chasing down a pelican,
Speaking of food,
and just was like, "This bird must die and be my breakfast."
But because of his cross-eyed, it's actually 2 pelicans to him, so he didn't know which one to go after.
Yeah. So he went after both, and in his vision, he got both. But yeah, with that, you're arriving a little later. But Nemi Namora will show you to your quarters, give you a small little tour of the ship. She'll let you know, like, if you're needing any food or rations, that they have plenty. They have plenty. That they have. Oh, how many rations they have? Let me. That. Yeah, they have. She says they have enough food for 50 people for 1 month.
That should be plenty.
Mm-hmm. So that's like 1,500. That's like 1,500 rations.
When she sets down my sea chest, I actually open it up and immediately pull out a fine bottle of wine. It's like for the captain's table.
She says, "Oh, that's wonderful! I love it. I don't drink."
I'm sure you will eventually entertain guests that do.
Yeah, do you drink?
Occasionally.
Great. We'll have to pour it over the some of these days. We can have a meal. We can set up like a nice blanket. Like right there, and I've got some.
It's a gift, and if you'd like to pour it out during this journey, certainly. Or you can save it till I'm conveniently gone and sell it at the next port.
Nonsense. The gifts are meant to be used. So I would never do such a thing. I appreciate it. And yeah. We'll definitely.
And then he groans as he brings out. It's not a very large ton, but it's bigger than he's really got the upper body straight to really pull out. It's like, and if you water this down, it's for the crew.
And she goes, "Oh, well, the crew will like that. A lot of the crew drinks. So what is it?"
It's extreme high-end rum.
Oh.
Again, would water it down so it can, 1, get around, and 2, doesn't, cause anybody to try to take swims they can't handle.
Okay.
But I leave that to your discretion. I am no sea captain.
Ooh, no, I like this. I'm gonna make sure it's ready now. She immediately goes and gets like a larger empty barrel, and she just dumps it into it. And then you see her like run off the dock a bit, and then she comes back like bringing a priest that she's like pulled off the roads. And you see her pass some coin over. As when he's over it, he like immediately like a large just cube of water splashes in and across the deck as he creates water into it. And then she immediately seals it. She gets a few of her, and she calls a few more. She's like, come here. And they pick up the barrel, and they just start like kind of shaking it around. And then she places it back down, she pats it, and she's like, "Okay, it's ready."
Kobe just kind of beams. It's like, well, that was decisive.
Well, so she goes, "All right, yeah, we'll definitely tap into that later. That'll be great. Everyone's gonna love that." All right, and then with that, Ori, you'll see Snaggletooth flying from the distance. That must be Sangfroid! And she immediately like wraps like she like puts like like both of her arms beyond you, and she kind of gently moves you while pushing past you, and just darts immediately like off the ship, just like jumps the railing for the stairs, bolts up as if it's like a kid at Christmas, as she then just does the same aspect of just like utilizing her agility and energy to just boundlessly make her way down the gangplank into the end of the dock, standing very in a very proud like A-frame power pose. Just ba-ba. Of course, Rowan, you coming down on Snaggletooth, your griffin, will see this tabaxi who's just standing there glowing with just brimming sun energy.
Do you have a picture of Nemi Namora?
I wish I had a picture of Nemi Namora.
Oh, okay.
This is what we get for daring to play a custom campaign.
Oh,
So,
Not every NPC is going to conveniently have illustrations.
I would adore for there to be an illustration of her, just because I have distinctive like so many distinctive features about her. But unfortunately, no, there are no illustrations. I am not an artist.
You should learn. Add that to your list of DM things to learn.
Become an artist.
draw, damn it.
If I get to that level of drawing that I can actually get to what I would want visually on paper like that, then yes, I'd agree to do that, and I'd also then become probably like an artist. For a
Lower
living.
your standards. Jeez.
No. I will never lower my standards. I will never lower my standards. I will just increase the need of my dreams. But you see her just kind of standing there in her 4'11" stature, just like very much looking. She assumes at you, watching you swoop down, and she just kind of like is just staring you down with this very like hearty, confident look. One of her eyes, of course, bulging a little bit, and the little fang that pops out while she kind of smirks at you.
I land.
And she'll just kind of she'll just put a hand up. It goes, "Hello, I am your Captain Nemi Namora."
Rainbows and
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah, all right. You must be Sangfroid, right?
No, I'm Rowan Half-Heart.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. You're the fourth to arrive.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, is this beautiful bird gonna be joining us as well?
Yes, this is Snaggletooth. Snaggy, say hi.
He just like does like that, and you're like, oh, he's so pretty, and he's got a little. She's like flustering over how like his beak's a little off, and she's like gesturing at her tooth that sticks out.
Yeah, that's why he's called Snaggletooth.
I love him. And she
He's pretty
immediately like just
adorable.
very aggressively like grabs towards his face, and Snaggletooth initially is like no, and like starts taking an aggressive stance. She's so quick. She does it and like just starts like scratching him between his eyes, and then he's like, yeah, never mind, I like this.
Good, because I didn't want to have to explain a griffin attack.
It's okay. She probably would have just lost a hand, and that just adds to the aesthetic.
Yeah, but he immediately gets very comfortable when she like just kind of runs her fingers in this little pattern through his feathers between his eyes. He kind of like sits down and starts like lengthening his neck forward, just enjoying it. Oh,
Well, I guess we should be boarding.
yeah. She goes, oh yeah, I'll show you your quarters, and I wish I had known more. I would have totally designed some kind of roost or made sure we had a better place for you, guy. But, no one told me. Sorry.
That's okay. He'll make do.
Okay. Well, if there's anything I can do get provided, I would love to make sure he's super comfortable. What does he like? What are the things he kind of like?
He likes fresh meat.
Ooh, we can definitely get some. Does he like fish?
Sure.
Great, we'll definitely do a lot of fishing then. We'll see what we can catch, and that way we can make sure you get fresh foods every morning. And she like this more aggressive crowd. She's like, okay, I'm sorry. She like immediately takes her hands off, like realizing that she was just like imposing her will for the scratches. Okay, all right, and she just kind of skips a bit ahead of you, her tail kind of curling behind her, and then going around her almost like a belt. And she goes, okay, well, welcome to the Tidecaller. And she's like, come with me. I'll show you where your quarters are.
I follow.
She's like, we're ready to go at any time. The moment Sangfroid arrives and says it is time for us to depart, we're gonna depart. It'll be probably about a 10-day journey.
So he's not here yet then.
No, I guess he's the last one? I don't know. How many of them are... is there anyone else beyond him?
I don't know. Who's all here?
She goes, Ori, Calvin, Britt, and then you.
Yep, he's the last one.
Awesome. Okay, that's pretty small crew. That means there'll be 41 of us total. Which means you have totally enough food. All right, perfect. And we have rum, and we have some nice wine, thanks to your friend Calvin.
Calvin is very good at that, yes.
Yes, he's very generous and very nice. My men are going to love it, and of course, if you want any of it, please, it'd be my absolute honor.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. All right. So she leads you to the ship. She kind of shows you around a little bit. She is like helping. She kind of breaks away to help some men with a particular kind of knot. Does that very quickly, then goes back to you, and then shows you to where the quarters beneath deck are. And yeah, and that's really about it. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to tackle a few other things, make sure everything's 100% right, and then once your final companion arrives, then we will take to the seas.
Sounds like a blast.
It is. Sailing is wonderful, and the sea is a kind mistress.
I don't look forward to it. I'm kind of afraid of the sea a little bit.
Oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. Plus, you've got Snaggletooth.
Yeah, if the going gets rough, we'll just fly for a bit.
Yeah. I'm sure he actually moves quicker than the ship, so you could easily be in the skies and then come down and relax as long as you like. Do what makes you comfortable, okay?
Okay.
And the ship's gonna be great. The Tidecaller has made over 40 successful journeys all across the Sword Coast. Not a scratch on her.
Well, that's a lot of journeys.
Yeah, we've been doing good. So yeah, so not a worry, okay?
Okay.
Isn't this like her third ship?
After she shows me my quarters, I'm going to go back up to the deck and wait for Temper to arrive.
All right. So, all of you are on deck if you wish any of you to talk. Of course, Ori being up in the crow's nest. If any of you wish to have conversation.
Ori's going to come down eventually. Is everyone else on the deck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Calvin, wait. The most horrible thing happened today. I became a pirate and I lost my eye, pointing at the eye patch. Grabbing onto your shoulders. It's gone! My eye is gone! Falling down to my knees, pulling on your shirt. Bring it back, Calvin! It's gone!
There. I'm sure that Neverwinter will have priests that can attend to that. He just pat you on the head because.
She's gonna look. Her eye is there. She's gonna wink with it and stand up.
Oh my, you got me.
All right. As you So, anything else? Anyone do in conversation?
No.
Calvin's just going to kind of stand, enjoy the breeze.
I will find the captain. I can't remember her name.
Nemi.
Nemi. Sorry.
Nemi Namora.
All right, you find her just advising some of her crewmates with the sails, making sure that everything's going according, and just making sure everything's okay. And what do you say to her?
When we get moving, whenever you have a free moment, of course, I have a surprise for you. But it's going to be a surprise that when I do it and I tell you about it, you need to not be preoccupied.
Okay. How long do I need to not be preoccupied?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I guess now is better than never. Right before we hit the seas, we're all set here. So, yeah, what is it?
Do you want to learn how to fly?
Learn how to fly? I mean, it took me so many years to learn how to sail, and I kind of like the ocean more than land. And I don't know. I mean, nah, I think I'm good.
This is when you just cast catapult on her.
She's like, I got sea legs, and these are not air arms, you know?
No, what I mean is, I think you would love, I can cast the spell fly on you, and for 10 minutes you can fly, and I'd love to see you fly. Because I think you have such an amazing energy, I think you would really enjoy it.
I'm good. Really? Like, I appreciate it. I think it's really neat and interesting that you want to see me fly around and want to give me that opportunity. Like, that's awesome. I appreciate it. But I'll pass.
Oh, okay.
Thanks though, and she'll give you like a hearty pat on the shoulder. Your like frame shakes a little bit. And she'll
A
get
little
back.
bruise appears.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're just gonna not have as much pep in her steps, gonna kind of walk away.
And after that, Calvin, you're going to hear a voice in your head that's coming from one of your agents.
After they introduce themselves appropriately, I will allow the communication because my thing lets me do that.
Yeah, which you know it's one of your agents, and the message is, "Are you all right? There's an imposter of you wandering about. He was at the yawning portal speaking to Durnan. We are looking into it."
Was it sending?
Yep. This is why I always have a Word document pulled up now.
Such a good spell.
Known factor. Unlikely to be an issue. He and I are headed to the same place. Did you... what conversation occurred?
You got 6 more letters or words.
That shouldn't need them.
A few moments will pass. And it says, we aren't sure. Based on what we could gather, it seemed pretty harmless. But Durnan's not giving an inch.
Acknowledged. Carry on again should not be an ongoing concern.
All right. And about an hour later is when Sangfroid will arrive.
You mean temper?
No, I mean Sangfroid.
Yeah, Sangfroid.
You did. I think he may have been on for that bit, but he changed it back to look like Sangfroid.
Oh.
Mainly because he did not want to be stopped by any other persons.
Apparently Calvin's popular, so didn't want that. But yeah, I show up.
Is he the only one who doesn't get the elaborate grading because the early warning system?
Yeah, am I able to get on the ship before anybody actually spots me? We don't have a lookout anymore.
We're gonna do it this way because it'd be fun. Ori, give us a perception check at disadvantage, and Temper, give us a stealth check because of your armor at disadvantage. Let the shitty rolls commence.
Oh, one of mine was really good too. That's 14.
That's a 2.
Ooh.
You see Sangfroid coming about.
I'm going to shoot off some fireworks and yell, "There's the scallywag, Captain!"
All right. Then with that, you'll see her just like bound upward over a crate and like just like run along on the edge of the frame of the ship, and then just with a big leap, actually jump off the ship and directly onto the dock. Temper in the distance, you just see this very agile and small tabaxi folk who just makes this obscene maneuvering and then just kind of jumps off, and as you kind of reach the base of the dock, she runs up to about 5 feet away from you, and then takes like a running like jump, and just plants her feet into that power position in front of you, with her hands on her hips.
That was quite an entrance.
And she says, "Why, thank you. I am your Captain Nemi Namora, and you must be Sangfroid."
No, my name is Calvin.
She goes, Calvin what?
I'm just messing with you. Yes, I'm Calvin.
You got a good sense of humor. I appreciate that. And you're keeping me sharp early on these mornings. I need it. We're going on a great adventure and and we're going to be sailing on a, well, I guess we're not going to anywhere too spectacular, but it's going to be great.
Great.
Yeah. But
Are we-
I'm Nemi Namora, and I can gladly show you around the Tidecaller, my ship.
Lead the way.
Yeah, and then whenever you are ready to set sail is when we depart. It is based on your word.
Go.
Okay. With that, she immediately starts running back to the ship, leaving you behind, and then you just hear her like clapping, and she's like, "It's time to depart. Get everything going. Let's get out of here."
And as I make my way up the gangplank onto the ship, I'm going to take a dragon out of my pocket and look at it, and then flip it into the sea before stepping onto the ship.
As you do, as it hits the water that pops up from it hitting almost looks like a hand just kind of closing around it.
Greedy bitch.
Are you on the deck now?
I just stepped foot on the deck.
And as you do, the deck is now swarming. Everyone on this deck is just fucking moving, getting everything getting to go, getting the ship all ready. You see her run up immediately to the helm. She's just yelling off instructions, letting people to know what to do for just and guiding them through the process with just a fervor and an energy. Her voice is just booming. As she's almost to the point of shouting across this mighty vessel. And everyone just seems in very high spirits as the ship begins to move. And with its first gentle rocks, those of you who are not familiar to ships feel a bit of a sink in your gut.
Used to it.
Rowan, it feels terrible.
Yeah, I hate. I remember when there was that like water-based thing in the first game, I did not go on it.
Yeah, true. I remember that.
I did not want to do that. So I see temper.
Wait, you see Sangfroid?
Yes, but I know it's temper.
Dude, you.
And I shout temper.
I ignore it completely.
I run up to you. And I shove you. And I say, "Why are you impersonating Calvin?"
I don't know what you're talking about. I've been me all day.
That's not true, and you know it.
This is the first time I have seen you this morning. But this is
You're
good
lying.
It's good to see you in good spirits.
I'm not in good spirits. I'm angry. What are you trying to hide? Why are you lying and being sneaky like Jarlaxle? What's wrong with you?
Temper, if you'll give a deception roll just to see how well you're hiding it. You don't need to make it. You don't need to make like anything like that. I just want to see if it's an aspect of like he's saying like, "Yeah, I never saw you," and then like he's accidentally smirking.
If it's deception, it is
definitely a deception.
11.
So he's definitely not making any eye contact with you, but like he's keeping a pretty straight face about the whole thing.
I know you're lying, and I know you're hiding things, and I don't know why you're doing that.
Perhaps it is just to keep you on your toes. It is a dangerous mission we go on. You can never be too careful. Just keeping your senses sharp for you.
She peers at you and she goes, "No, I don't think that's it."
At that point, he'll just go ahead and take off the ring because it had served its purpose for the time being. You can think whatever you want.
And she just turns and huffs away from you.
I watch her go for a bit, tuck my ring into my pocket, and make my way into the corridors to find an empty room to put all my.
Right. You kind of have to dance around the people rummaging and like about the ship. There's 36 deckhands that are right now all just quickly moving and making sure things are in place and that things are going smoothly as you begin to leave the docks of Waterdeep.
Cool. Question, Bo, unrelated to some of this stuff. How much does a regular pistol cost?
A regular pistol?
Yeah, like the one that Calvin blew up in his face.
They don't sell them in Waterdeep.
I understand. I didn't go buy one. What would be the gold value of such an item?
I don't really have. I'd have to look it up. I honestly I haven't thought about how much they're worth because.
Would it be more than 100 gold?
It would probably be around 100. I'd imagine 100 plus.
I can give us a figure here in just a half second for baseline.
Yeah. Because Calvin obtained his from the prior campaign.
Yeah, I just didn't know what the actual value of it was.
Yeah. What do you have in mind? What are you doing?
It's actually baseline. The vanilla from the player's handbook is 250 gold.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to begin the process of replacing the one that exploded. So I'll take 100 gold from my stash, and I'll use my artisan's blessing, channel divinity, to begin to build the components of it. So I'll start with the ammunition chamber, where the ammunition would be loaded into.
Okay, so you just start spending some time rebuilding building the weapon.
Yeah, just I'll spend the first hour holed up in my room working on that.
Okay, so for those who see Sangfroid then Temper arrive, you'll see him then quickly head below deck and disappear behind shut door. Now these quarters, you guys have 2 rooms that between each one, each room has a total of 6 cots. 3 which are very much in a bunk bed style, where it's 3 lower cots and 3 upper cots. Not to be confused with apricots.
I'm sorry, I zoned out really bad there for a second. Are we all in the same room with the?
You have 2 rooms, and each room has 6 cots. So you can be in separate rooms, or you can all be in the same room. That is 100% based on however you guys wish to do it.
I would have just gone where the captain pointed me. So
she would have shown you both rooms. They're next to each other.
I would have
snagged the bottom bunk on one of them.
Same.
Cool. All right.
I guess it boils down to basically, yeah, who's
wait, pause for a minute.
Yeah.
So, Virginia is frozen.
Oh no! No, she's gone.
Because I heard her talking, but I didn't hear it.
How about now?
You're good.
There you go.
Okay. I don't care where I sleep. I just don't want to sleep near Temper, so I don't want to share a bunk with him.
Okay, so you take the bunk above. I will say you take the bunk above Calvin.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
You're the person I trust the most, which is not saying
Ironic.
a lot. It's I can quantify how I can expect you to betray me, and that's not nothing.
All right. So as the ship begins to leave, and you make your leave out of Waterdeep, Calvin, are you like looking upon the Waterdabian shore as you depart?
Yep.
All right. Please make a perception check for me.
Hold on a second. I closed my sheet. Silly me. I'll have it back up momentarily.
Can't believe you guys don't trust me.
You're acting funny.
Okay, that perception is a 33.
All right. So as you leave, there's a lot of kids and people who are like waving at the ships leaving, and so you see like a bunch of these just Waterdavian kids that are like, waving at the ship with fleets going on. There's a lot of people gathered, a lot of vendor stalls. So as each ship leaves, a lot of people are cheering the ship on for safe travels and things like that. So there's like this absolute kind of festive merriment to heading off into sea right now. It almost feels like you're in this like parade for ships. As all of you feel like you're leaving, and on the journey you're going forward, all of Waterdeep is behind you, backing you, and supporting you. As you look out into the crowds and see all these persons who are just like waving or cheering them on, you will notice one person who has taken off their hat and using their hat to make a very clear signal of just waving goodbye, and you recognize it to be Jarlaxle.
How far away is he?
At this point, probably about like 300 feet.
Okay.
He seems to be in the middle of the festivities, and you just see that he's now part of the crowd, and he has a pleasant smile upon his face as he's with them. And he's using his hat to wave goodbye and wish like just like all the others doing well, wishing you on your journeys.
All right. All right. Kelvin is just going to sit there and stare at him with just his hand flexing on his pommel of his rapier.
Jarlaxle's existence is your anxiety. Like, people are like, do you have anxiety? And you're like, yes, and he has a name. Anyway, but yeah, the rest you get to experience as well if you're on top side of just very much this welcoming and just this very hearty and festive farewell as you break from the Waterdavian harbor and you start entering the deeper waters of the Sword Coast. So,
Hey, Bo, quick question. Sorry to derail you.
You're perfectly fine.
The part of the gun that broke was just the barrel, right?
Well,
Or I mean, was it just the entire thing as a whole, or was it just
it wasn't the barrel. It would have been the chamber.
Okay.
Because
with a pistol of that type, an explosion such as what you described would probably have caused catastrophic damage to the barrel, the entire fire assembly, and most of the grip would probably not be super salvageable with mundane means.
I mean, it is heavily damaged. However, in the sake of some kindness and some just more mechanical aspects, the only aspect that needs to be replaced is going to be the firing mechanism. The barrel can be fixed, and the grip in this case is fine enough.
Okay.
In that regard, just because I'm otherwise I don't want to be a situation of like, well, you better get a whole new gun.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I mean, with magic, it's all probably mendable slash fixable with the thing
So
he's doing.
what I would argue is the barrel is mendable, the grip is mendable, the firing mechanism is not.
Okay, yeah. So I just after the hour, whenever that comes by, I'll have that main, firing mechanism uh, done, and then I'll put it together with the metal from the barrel and the metal and wood and components from the grip, and I'll put them together on the floor in front of me, and I'll take 10 minutes and cast Fabricate and meld them together into one functioning firearm.
All right. So how's everyone doing after their first few hours at sea? This first day we're gonna do, and then every day forward, you will get to roll for what happens.
Yay!
So that's how this is going to work. It's a 10-day journey, and then based upon your rolls will dictate how each of those days play out, whether they work to your favor, work to your disadvantage, or if there's an event.
Ori is very seasick on the first day.
Rowan, are you the same?
Yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest. I mostly just stay in the bunk room.
Gotcha. So you're like down in the cots, and you're thinking that'll make you feel better, but then like with the swaying of the cot and the swaying of the ship, you just find it to like eat into your stomach deeper.
Yeah, Ori is going to be on the deck, refusing to not watch the city go by and see the world outside.
Gotcha. And as you do so, a positive and light energy to you. The more the ship begins to sway and everything like that, you just find the turbulence of it in your stomach just beginning to swell as you start looking unwell. And at that point, Captain Nemi Namora will come up to you and be like, "Hey, you doing all right? You're looking a little off your bearings."
First time leaving the city.
Oh yeah, that can be rough. And are you familiar with ships? Do you ever go by sea to any just to any other the local islands?
I've never been on a boat, never been out of the city.
Oh man. Ooh. Well, okay, I have the perfect thing for that. And she pulls around this clay jug. She uses her fang to like you see her like pop her fang into the cork and then pull it out. And she passes you the clay jug.
I will take a small sip.
Before you even have the chance to take a sip, you can just smell salt just permeating out of the clay.
I'm
As
still.
as you take a swig, there's this citrus brine that hits you. That's just so sharp it causes you to like your nose to upturn, your lips to purse, and then there's this very odd, just umami, fishy bite that follows afterwards. So like as you swallow it, you like let out like this gasp of air as if you forgot how to breathe. But you do feel somehow almost like immediately, at least temporarily, a tiny bit better, as if it's like doing that, you know, just the focus it took out of that made you forget you were on the ship for a brief moment. She's like, if you need more, I definitely recommend it. It'll help to acclimate you.
Oh, thank you. I feel so much better already.
Yeah, it's my own concoction. This is. She's like, I make sure to carry it around for any people who don't have their sea feet.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll come back around to give you more later. And she kind of just hops around awkward. as you kind of think of the flavors in it, which almost begin to disgust you, you're pretty sure it's like a mixture of like oranges, seawater, and like anchovies.
It's just all about being scurvy.
So how was it? Is anyone else doing anything like Calvin? Anything you're doing in particular, or Grit?
Kelvin will be enjoying being on the wide open sea, kind of going back to his family's roots. But he's also being very cautious. Like he's not just hanging out. He's not doing anything exciting. He is not climbing the rigging. He will occasionally go near the edge, but only where there's ropes to hold on to.
You're cautious.
Yep.
You're cautiously enjoying things.
Yep.
Where Nemi would also come up to you, ask how you're doing, and would offer you a swig from her jug.
He'd be curious and he'd try it.
Where you'd have the same, just kind of vile bite because I mean it's seawater.
Yeah.
But you would get it down, letting out the same kind of exasperated gasp. Once free from its bite, but your mouth still tasting of salt. And she's like, "It does the body good."
I'm sure it does. I certainly feel heartier for having tried it.
Good. It'll definitely help you out and make sure that the sea is kinder to you.
Well, I appreciate it.
With that, she'll hop on along. Grit, what are you doing?
Grit have had been. Oh man, those are all the same word. Have been on a boat before. This probably wouldn't affect him too adversely. I would go and seek out Ori.
Pay me.
So you go find Ori not too much longer after Captain Nemi had just visited her, and you can see Ori is not acclimating well.
Oh, you look awful.
Thank you. Your voice is weird. Is that just me?
No, I have a condition that it comes up every once in a while.
Oh, are you going through puberty?
Well, what is a puberty?
Oh dear. I'm gonna have the birds and bees with you, aren't I?
I don't think I want to have this conversation. I was here on business, not pleasure.
Oh, right. I should get Calvin for this too. Would you be within sight, Calvin?
Probably.
The
It's a big ship, but it's not that big of a ship.
As you turn around to see him, you do see him, and you kind of move a foot to kind of pivot your body towards him. The ship kind of hits along a wave, and so like there's this large ripple that shakes the ship.
Calvin.
I pivot and look at you and then come over.
So Calvin, remember how we discussed how we would help pay for Grit's services?
Kelvin will quirk an eyebrow and it's gone. Refresh my memory.
No, we definitely talked about this. How Grit has proven himself to be a good warrior, and how he is not on as great financial terms as the two of us. That we would help him.
I want to insight check this.
Go ahead and make a roll. What are you inciting for?
I feel like trying to fluff me up. I'm trying to pull a fast one on me. Where did roll 20 go? Or that's 17 for insight.
Yeah, you can tell I'm up to some shit, but it's more towards Calvin than you.
It's so great. Are you currently free to take a new contract?
I still have a prior contract, but nothing should get in the way as long as you're not trying to get me to kill your old compatriot.
We might try.
No, that's not what I had in mind. What we talked about, Calvin, before, was that Temper, or Sangfroid, had mentioned that he was out of money within earshot and wanted to make sure that you were kept in employment.
Dragon does have to eat, so, doing this for free could be detrimental to my health.
But we wouldn't want to see that in a young, pubescent kobold.
Let's see. Hold on, let me pull my purse real quick. Looks like it'll be a 10-day there, a 10-day, conceivably a 10-day back. Let's say, give it a 10-day to attend to business in Neverwinter.
Well, I was going to teleport us back.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Let's call it 300 gold grit to keep you on retainer.
That sounds like a fair amount.
I'm not going to bother pulling up the hirelings, but I think that's at least a couple of times the going rate for solid mercenaries.
Grit's not trying to overplay his hand here. He's like, yeah,
I just want to.
that's a great amount. Good. That's barely cutting it, but I'll take it.
As long as you're aware.
I mean, it is only half of what your friend was paying me, but
Also, unlike him, we have some responsibilities.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, hey, does he have any financial responsibilities he has to follow up with other than grit?
You don't know my life.
No, but I feel like it's a reasonable assumption.
I wasn't also born into privilege, so
Yes. Well, Kelvin believes that anything worth paying for is worth overpaying for to make people's day better.
But, Calvin, we can cut that in half, correct? We can each pay half.
No need.
Oh.
All right.
What I said about, getting rid of your friend, I'm willing to overlook it if enough gold were to magically appear.
It's a perish the thought that any such thing occur.
my dream of 4v1. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Damn it, here I am trying to see if I can actually find the going rate.
It's 5 silver a day, I think.
Wow.
So you're way overpaying.
Yeah, well, they provide. give some measure of loyalty. And obviously, Grit, if you do anything impressive on the journey and return safely to Waterdeep, there's always the possibility of more for good service.
I'll keep that in mind.
Just make sure you check in with me afterwards.
I think I can do that.
Temper's not there, but if he was, he'd be so proud. So proud.
All right. So after a few more hours pass, each of you finding yourself more suitable on the ship, or not, Temper, you will be done with what your project you've been working on.
Yep. I'll find Waterson's bunk and place the finished product under his pillow.
Mine's going to be the one with the chest, and basically, whether or not you have to leave to go to a different room is completely up to you because you picked last.
I don't know what room it was in. I just found an open bottom bunk, but I don't imagine it took me very long to figure out which one was yours.
Yeah,
and everyone else's for that matter.
So, page 159 in the player's handbook. 2 gold per day.
so I am over doubling the going rate.
Like 10 times, right?
Well, yeah, for 20 days that'd be 40 gold.
Yeah, but I ballparked the 3 10 days.
Oh,
So,
Just to give us safe on the time, and I didn't say that was the terms per se, but yeah. So that's 5 a day, no 10 a day, right?
3,
Yeah, 10 a day. So yeah, never mind. Yeah, so that's 5 times the going rate.
Yep.
math is hard.
Steven, I like your pronouns.
Oh God.
I just noticed it just now.
I did that a long time ago. Like immediately after I noticed your pronouns.
Yeah. I realized I forgot to put them in before, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta remember to do that.
Yeah, I just don't want to bump my name to a slot to having a second line.
Yeah, it helps Grit and I don't have last names. So
Yeah. Or titles.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than dropping off the finished product under his pillow, I just go back to my bunk and enjoy the gentle swaying on the ocean and just go through and pick up my sketchbook again. And
Are you doing that on deck or in the bunk?
on my bunk?
Okay.
I'm pretty used to being on the sea at this point, so gentle swaying doesn't really don't notice it too much anymore.
All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to do during the first day at sea?
Just be sick.
Okay.
I just want to roll for what happens.
Keep on rolling.
And all land is sort of always going to sit down and pull out the book. Very like bright yellow. I'm going to start reading.
We can take it from the swerving of the seas. And
What language is it in? The title.
It's in Dwarven.
Oh, what is it then?
It says a goblin's ass or a hole in the ground. A primer on goblin relationships and excavation.
Interesting.
Okay. Noted.
Oops.
That's a thing.
Is it a Volo's guide?
It's now canon. All right. Anyone else want to anything? Anyone else do anything before sun sets?
No, not before sunsets, I don't think.
All right. Then as sun begins to set, uh, you'll hear a loud whistle blow, and it happens it was pulled out by Nemi Namora. And as you see, immediately all the crew members kind of take a break and they start gathering upon the deck. A few nearby it will like tap you and be like, "Come on, come on, come on." Some of the crewmen would come down to the beneath into your quarters, Rowan, and be like, say, "Hey, Captain's calling everyone up."
Okay.
You like get onto your feet immediately, like your knees shake and wobble. You almost find yourself wanting to crawl more on all fours than actually trying to walk on your feet.
I crawl on all fours.
Anyone noticing this will see Rowan coming out of the stairs, just out on all fours, knees down on the deck. Her eyes mainly looking directly at her hands. You can see like her head like this kind of bobbing, and almost in the opposite motion that the ship is. Just not looking good. Um, and you'll see Nemi, who kind of crawls partially up a mast, and she hangs from it. And she'll say, "Ahoy, all crew of the Tidecaller!" And you'll all like cheer. She's like, "We have finally set sail, and we make our way to Neverwinter!" As she points northward.
Yell.
She's like, we have wonderful people joining us for this trip, as she kind of gestures all of you, and they have brought us great and wonderful gifts. As you see two men rolling up the barrel of rum. She's like, "So tonight we celebrate." We all cheer. She hops down, and you see her just take a knife and like cut into the barrel, that immediately just shove a spigot in the hole she makes. A little bit of rum escaping, and she says, "So everyone, drink!" And you see some men have already opened up a crate and are passing out like rations, as they begin to immediately go out and grabbing drink and grabbing food, and the environment becomes just all very, very lively, like a party.
Ori's going to start drinking pretty hard.
All right, so it is watered down rum, but it is watered down with very clean and pure water. So it comes out very, very crisp and refreshing in comparison to
Shush!
What was that?
Puppies.
I have no idea what happened there.
That sounds weird.
No, I didn't hear me.
Dogs bark like that before.
I mean, it's usually only when there's actually like somebody there. If there's just like a quick thing, usually they bark for a second and then kind of wait for confirmation that there's something there.
But you definitely grab yourself some rum. They got some good old just wooden mugs that that you can partake from. And everyone else, you grab food and drink.
Rowan stumbles to her feet and, figuring it can't get any worse, goes to get some rum.
All right, you begin to drink the rum, and as you do, you almost feel you start kind of feeling better. So you keep drinking the rum, and we'll see where that goes.
Mm.
And as everyone has food in their belly and they're still starting to drink, they start to get lively. They start to sing chants and dance and stomp their feet, and the energy just becomes very just high in the air. Just these men just kind of cheering, dancing with each other, just like they have no care in the world. So what's everyone doing as the festivities happen?
Did Temper come up?
No, he ignored all of that.
So with that, you now hear stomping from above, people that are being jubilant and high of energy coming from above you.
I'll, every once in a while when a louder noise or a particular enthusiastic set of footsteps, I'll look up and take note of it, and then dive back into my sketchbook, not wanting to bother with the festivities.
All right, Calvin, are you participating in the festivities? What do you do?
I'm getting a drink and some food, and staying off relatively to the side.
All right, Rowan, are you kind of just chilling up there as best you can?
I'm drinking as much as I can.
Oh goodness, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw then. And Grit, how about you?
Grit. Well,
10. I have to
relatively,
pee.
but it's not going to do anything. But he will also participate in the festivities.
All right, do you get into like all the energy with like the dancing and like the stomping and like singing along with the sea shanties?
Yeah.
Luckily, a lot of them are pretty repetitive, so they're easy to sing.
Yeah, I imagine this is not the first time we've run into something kind of similar.
Oh,
Being on
not at all. In fact, some of these sea shanties you've heard sung before. Ori, how about you?
Ori is going to have 2 drinks, and is going to be a little tipsy, but is going to be pretending to be extremely drunk.
Okay.
While singing and dancing, and at one point she's going to go over to the side and say, "Hey everyone, watch this!" Going to point her hand out and flop off a fireball off the side of the ship.
As it explodes off to the side, a lot of them will cheer and like that. And Nemi would be like, "That's amazing! That was awesome! Don't do it again."
Yes, ma'am, I'm a good pirate.
She
And
goes-
she's going to go back to dancing.
She says, "Yeah." She's like, "Just bright lights at night on the sea are not usually good, so let's not do it."
Now all of China knows you're here.
Oh God. Good. Fucking yeah, but they all begin to just kind of dance and keep going, and then there'll be a moment where they'll all just start chanting Nemi, Nemi, and then she'll get up and then she will start singing, and she'll just jubilantly get on top of the barrel and just begin with this sea shanty. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down. Blow me, bully boys, blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugared tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. And she'll just continue. They'll all immediately jump in, joining on the sea shanties. The energy just picks up and keeps going.
Hello, sea shanty TikTok. How are
I
you?
know, right?
Rowan tries to sing along with them. Oh, I got a 10 on my con save, by the way.
Oh yeah, you are you are feeling it. If you thought you were dizzy beforehand, you
You're
are
feeling it now, Mr.
Maybe this makes it better because it's that much closer to flying.
You feel like you're on a merry-go-round that doesn't just go in a circle, but also goes vertically.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like I'm being on the outside of a G-force machine.
Ooh.
Ugh. God. So yeah. So but the energies, it's just everyone here is very lively. They seem to be all just very happy. And it keeps up for a long time. Does anyone want to do anything as these nightly festivities keep going?
I'm gonna quietly slink down into the hold, but sleeping area.
All right, you head down. You can see the dust being shaken off the boards here from everything above. But you're able to make your way, of course, to the quarters where you can either find your own quarter, where you can find Temper.
Okay.
Temper currently cleaning himself up from when the giant explosion outside the ship made him shit himself.
Were we in the same room, Temper, or not?
Sure.
Okay.
Just
Good.
for the awkwardness. Why not?
Yeah, it's works great for me.
You said there were 3 sets of bunk beds in each room?
Yeah. There's enough bunk for us all to have a bunk.
Yeah. So I
Four
imagine
sets of cots.
Yeah, I imagine there's one of them in between us. We're on the opposite end ones, but yes, in the same room.
Yeah, there's a pair on the left, a pair in the back wall, and a pair on the right wall.
So, or yeah,
Yeah, I imagine I would have taken the back wall. Dubious security reasons, honestly.
So with that, you would not have a pair separating you at all because Carl's taking the middle pair.
yeah. But you were saying that it was more like a triangle than like a side by, like in a row.
Oh yeah, they're all on individual walls, so they have.
Yeah. So that's fine. I was thinking it was like in a row, but
Yeah.
if it's just a triangle, we would be
Yeah.
technically besides each other.
The left side would be the farthest away from the door.
Yeah. I'll have the one closest to the door.
All right.
I'll enter, make eye contact, keeping my hands clear of myself, make my way to my bunk, sit back on it, kind of look around, see if I figured whether or not anybody has tried to claim the bunk above me. If nobody appears to have.
Rowan put
Rowan
a sack.
has.
Yeah.
The one
Okay.
above you has definitely been occupied. You can see items placed upon it. You know to be Rowan's.
Then I'll just kind of awkwardly kind of cram myself underneath it. It's like, so what are you going to be going by from here?
You can call me whatever you'd prefer. But for the most part, I imagine this will be the face you see when you wake up and when you go to sleep.
Then I'll
If it
use
works for you, then it works for me.
very well temper. Did you have a good talk with Durnan this morning?
Temper will smile ever so slightly. As good as any conversation with Durnan is.
Kelvin chuckles. Why precisely did you want to go around town wearing my face?
It's a good question, really. I mean, I really only put it on initially to get out of your house without being bothered too much. Then, of course, I ran into Rowan on the way out, so that complicated things a little bit, but went through there, and I suppose I could have changed at that point, but just didn't feel like I needed to be bothered, and you're a friendly face to Durnan, so it wouldn't be much of a surprise to see you in his establishment, so I just kept it on until it became too much of a hassle. You're far too popular for my liking.
Anything exciting happen?
Wouldn't say anything exciting, no. Had a drink, had some food, nice conversation. Music was better than normal. That's about it.
Two Strings has stepped up his game.
He has. Used to play like shit.
Helps to have a fully functional instrument.
Was that why they called him Two Strings?
Yeah, at first.
I just thought he had bad parents. What time would you say it's gotten to be about, Bo?
It is late evening. You are heading towards twilight.
Okay. At that point, it will be noticeably loud enough for anyone in the room to hear Temper's stomach alert its need for sustenance. So he'll get up from his bed and make his way through the door. But as he does, he stops. He'll say over his shoulder, "Under your pillow, we're even." And he walks out and heads upstairs to go get some food.
Kelvin, basically, as he turns away and breaks eye contact, is a good 5 feet away from his bed and approaches the pillow with his rapier, lifts it. Checks his pistol, loads his pistol, hides his pistol.
All right.
And just the only thing of note, I don't know if you had a specific aesthetic to the original pistol with any like of note details, because he would have recreated it as best he could.
Nope, just wood handle, metallic finishings. Anything that was there before was there from this previous owner.
Gotcha. So the gun is the exact same as far as the general shape of it, the feel of it in your hand, and stuff like that. But any of the markings that were ornate, any of the ornate carvings on the handle or anything like that would have been done away with, and instead you would just see dwarvish runes down the handle.
Do they say anything in particular?
Oh, do you speak Dwarvish?
I do.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you.
Cool.
We can put you on Whisper as well. So
No, it's fine. I'll just send it to him because it's easier through text.
all right.
But yeah, I'll head upstairs and make my way to find a bowl of food and a flagon of rum.
All right, so yep, it does not take much as you make your way around the jubilant crowd of sea shantying singers and stompers, and they gladly shove food into your hands and a flagon as alongside.
And then I'll take it to wherever I can find a potential quiet end of the ship. I don't know if they're congregating more towards one end or the other, but if there's a kind of a place to lean my back up against that's a little away from people dancing and spilling drinks and singing and stuff, but on the top deck.
You would be able to go up the flight of stairs to the stern quarters, where from there, above the stern quarters would be an easy location on the back of the ship where it's going to be a little bit quieter. Obviously, the rambunctious noise still there, but able to.
Were all these festivities inside the ship or on the deck?
They're on top of the deck.
Okay, that's why because I'll still be on top of the deck, just on a quiet.
Yeah.
He was suggesting you go to the quarterdeck.
Okay.
Yeah, because you go up the stairs, to the stern.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're still because the majority of them are on the galley of it.
Depending on ship etiquette, and I don't know what this ship's is or what the Waterdabian norm is, but on British naval vessels, you don't go on the quarterdeck without the captain's permission. There's also the forecastle where you can hang out. Has a similar.
I would probably just go hang out on the stairs to the stern quarters, but not actually go all the way up, because I would probably know that from my past several months of sailing.
Yeah, you'd only see two people actually up there. One seems to be a navigator of sorts, and the other is the person at helm.
Yeah, I'll stop on the stairs and pop a squat.
Yeah, and that puts you a decent little while away, where you're definitely still around the noise. It still permeates the air, but you're not like in the thick of it where like you're breathing in this energy. Rowan, how you doing?
I don't know. Do I need to roll again?
Go ahead. If you are still drinking while spinning like a top.
Yep.
Go right ahead.
17.
You are maintaining around the same. You're still feeling like these senses of vertigo as the ship is moving, and then your head and your body is moving, and they are not in sync at all.
I'm imagining a very trippy music video for "Come Sail Away."
Oh, God. come sail away if they made the whole music video in a fucking kaleidoscope.
I lay down on the deck.
All right. You kind of crawl your way and you find to a quieter place where you find yourself up on the upper level of the bow, and just kind of laying up there. There's a few people who are there smoking pipes, but it seems to be relatively quiet-ish. And you find an area to lay, and one will come over to you and be like, "Yeah, you doing all right?"
That's good. I was just rested here a minute.
You need some tonic?
Tonic?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It's the captain's tonic. It helps you if you don't got your sea legs yet.
Sure, I'll take some of that.
All right, and he jets off and he comes back with a clay jug.
Huh.
And he says, "Take as much as you need. Does you good. Does you real good."
I take a giant swig.
And of course, it is briny. It has that citrus bite, but it is overwhelmed by this salty fish aftertaste.
Blah.
Do you like spit some of it out onto the dock?
No, I swallow it all, but I go bleh.
And he goes, "Hey, there you go. It's easier to acclimate to the sea if you got a bit of her in you."
Huh. I just never thought of it that way.
Yeah, makes sense, right?
It makes so much sense.
And then you got the fish in there, and you got the oranges, and it just, it gives it that good flavor.
I take another gulp.
It is not any better than the first time.
I hand it back to the guy. Thank you.
Yeah, and he just runs it back to the captain. And you see them going back to like smoking and just talking about stuff. And he just says, "If you need a puff, just speak up."
Okay.
All right, and with that, you lay your head down. You can hear like the ocean waves as like you feel your head. You know, like when you get like so drunk and you lay down, you can just feel everything spinning as if like someone is slow churning you like a stew.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling, but that happened not that long ago.
I mean, well, I'm recreating a visible feeling for everyone. But that's
I stare up at the night sky as best I can.
But yeah, and as you do, you see the stars, and they slowly spin as if you can see the celestial bodies in motion, and just seeing what their flight paths have been for millions of years, the entire time, everything teetering from the left and to the right. Your form is just unstable.
Wow.
All right, Grit, you have found yourself immersed in just the midst of the crew who have embraced you full-heartedly, arms wrapped around you while stomping, picking you up and putting you on like shoulders to like sing louder and sing higher, and just the absolute embracement into the crew in the midst of this revelry.
Whee!
Which, of course, Temper, you will witness. You've noticed that Grit has sometimes gotten involved in the crew, but this time, like, he's going whole hog.
I'll take note of that and have a bit of a surprised look on my face to see him so carefree.
Yeah,
But not at all upset about it.
The atmosphere of the top deck does very much feel like there's no issues in the world. It seems like if you let down your guard, you would actually have enjoyable moments.
Almost like life could be enjoyable if you weren't afraid of dying at every turn.
Life could be a dream.
All right, and Ori, how about yourself? What are you doing during all this?
Ori's going to just be dancing and singing. She's going to be creating illusions of animals also dancing and singing with the crew, and she's going to do that for a few hours. and she's going to kind of quietly sort of step away from everyone, and she's going to look around when no one's looking. She's going to climb up the rigging and go up to the crow's nest.
All right. A moment you think you have clear, you make your way climbing on up, and it takes you some time. Athletics. Okay, what's your athletic score?
I think it's just a flat 0.
Flat 0. Okay. You're able to do so by taking your time, and you get to the crow's nest, and there'll be a portly gnomish man there who will be manning it, and you see he's got his own little like step stool that with a high, and then there's another chair there with a high back, and he's just kind of stepping the steps with his arms rested up, and he'll be like, "Welcome to the crow's nest."
I'm gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to summon Opal, my owl. Be like, do you mind if I rest up here and have my friend here help keep an eye out?
Not at all. Company is always welcome to the crow's nest. It can get quite quiet and lonely, so another pair of eyes makes it easier.
I kind of Opal out of my hand onto the side of the crow's nest, and then sort of lean back, sort of half close my eyes, and go into Opal's field of view and just sort of rest.
All right, you will find rest. Calvin, are you doing anything else other than finding rest now? Is everyone kind of making their way to the night's end?
Yeah, I think so. He's not sleeping yet, but he's partied out.
Gotcha. Then the night will begin to taper off, each of you finding rest. Rowan, you will eventually be guided down to your cot, probably with assistance.
I'm slurring the sea shanty song.
All right. So you're just like over here.
I hope it's one of the wildly inappropriate ones.
The wildly inappropriate ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some song about just fucking some dude's wife. That's the whole point of the song, and Rowan's just going hard on it. But they help you on down, and they help you get up into your cot. Luckily, with your size, they are able to help you get up into it pretty easily. Grit, of course, you being completely sober the entire time, just find yourself there for as long as you want to be until eventually things begin to split as people need to sleep and people need to be doing their job.
Sailors be sailing.
Yeah, but Nemi, and a lot of it disappears when Nemi's like, "All right, time to call it," and she's gonna pat you on the back, and she's like, "You know what? You go hard."
Thanks. This is nothing compared to the parties we had back home.
She's like, "Well, you'll have to definitely show me how they do it there."
I just might.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thanks. Well, I'm gonna go get some sleep. I recommend the same for you, but whenever, day or night doesn't really matter if you don't care about it, right?
That's true.
All right, and with that, you see her head. You see her head over to the captain's quarters, and she disappears for the night, and everyone begins to slowly scatter. With that, Temper, you're able to get your food, go back and sketch more until you feel content and pass you out yourself. And the night will fade onward, and the next day will begin. Who would like to roll the first D10 of travel? All right, Temper has volunteered.
I've been looking forward to it.
Go ahead, roll a D10.
D10.
I wanted to do it, but I know you were excited.
6. Lucky number 6.
Okay. So numero 6. As the next day hits, the winds seem to be playing very much into your favor. It is clear skies. The crew is all in high spirits from the night prior, so everything seems to just go exceptionally well. And with this day of travel, you will cut 1 day off your travel time.
Boo!
Was there,
Improving your paycheck, right?
was there anything anyone wanted to do on the second day in particular?
How did Rowan wake up with a hangover?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Is she not necessarily vocal, but is she
How
obviously
much
hungover?
do I regret her decisions?
Rowan, please make a dexterity saving throw with advantage due to your danger sense.
Okay. If I rolled a nat 1, I get to roll that one again.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, I got a 12.
Okay, so you definitely don't remember how the night ended, so you forgot that you were on a upper bunk cot. So as you get up, you just kind of roll over and just fall.
Oh,
But you're able to kind of brace yourself enough that you take the fall well. But there's a loud like punk dunk as she
Huh.
like races down, and like Calvin, it's like right next to you. So like your heart like jumps up to your throat a little bit, your eyes go wide as like you even dreamt of like some fast moving object passing you. And you see Rowan stumbling to get up from the ground after the large thud.
Yeah. So I have a couple of faintly glowing daggers in my hand as I'm pivoting out, looking around, look down, see Rowan. And... Okay.
like, Calvin, it's just me.
Okay.
Oh,
Need a hand?
yes. I take it.
I help you up. It is not the easiest task I've ever done.
I feel awful.
Seasickness and some hard drinking is an interesting choice.
I thought it couldn't get any worse.
And you have found that,
It's about the same.
well, then you didn't lose much.
I try to climb back up onto the bunk.
I try to help, but it doesn't help.
No, I just kind of wave you away. Oh,
It's here. You can take mine for the time being.
All right.
I'll be on deck.
After letting the feeling of fury wash over me, of being woken up suddenly with a loud thud, thinking another giant explosion may have happened up. I will quietly listen to their conversation, and when I finally stir, I will step over to whatever bed Rowan is now in, and give her kind of like a little punch on the shoulder, and say, "Good morning, sunshine," and I'll cast Lesser Restoration to cure her of the poison that is a hangover.
Okay. So
she kind of groans, and then she like looks at you suspiciously. Thanks.
Seeing the suspicious look, I'll lean in. Your entire bloodline is now cursed forever. And then I'll just walk away.
Kind of just ignores that. How do I feel now, Bo? Do I feel better?
Yeah, I mean you actually know you feel better overall. Like even like your seasickness seems to be at least temporarily at bay, as you just kind of feel your stomach begin to settle, and your form just feels a bit more reinforced and invigorated. The seasickness may come back. That'll be based upon how you feel Rowan still does. That's purely up to your discretion.
Okay.
All right. Did anyone else do anything with this second day?
I'm getting up and going to get breakfast.
Doing what now?
I went to go get breakfast
Okay.
after I
Food time.
cursed Rowan's entire bloodline.
Okay. And of course, with these
Hungry work.
days, they are 10 days of travel. We don't have to replay them completely, like fully out. So if there's anything bigger you want to do, you can say that.
Oh, okay.
But things like meals, anything like that, I'm assuming you're eating. I'm assuming you're shitting. You know, that kind of thing.
No, I'm not shitting this entire time.
Gotcha.
I'm a really nervous pooer, so all of these people in this close proximity does not work well for me.
This is gonna be a real hard time on that 10th day when you arrive at shore and you just like unload. Anyway.
No, I just cast water walk and I just walk off the ship a ways and then do that and then come back.
Hey guys, can you drop anchor? I gotta go drop anchor.
Yep, you got it.
All right. Is there anything big anyone wants to do the second day? Any activity, any event, any conversation?
Ori's going to try and spar people.
Spar people?
Yeah, she's going to ask. Be like, hey, do you want to spar? Well, kind of pointing at her rapier. I want to be a better pirate.
You get a few people who are willing to agree. They that out of curiosity they're willing to give it a shot. None that give you a run for your money though. Like you very handedly just outshine them.
I'm a good pirate.
So, but and Nemi just kind of looks at you and says, "Yeah, you're so good with a blade. You have what is it? Finesse. Yeah, that's the word. Finesse.
Do you want to see something really cool? It's not a fireball this time.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. I love to see it. What do you have? I'm so curious.
Go into Blade Song and just start going like crazy.
She's like, wow, that's impressive. How long did it take you to learn something like that?
About a decade.
Wow, that's a lot of time and practice. Good on you. That's crazy. This ship's my love. Being on a ship. This is what I've been working on for over a decade. So like I get it. It definitely reflects, right? All that time and effort.
It shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, are there any unsavory folk on this ship?
No, I think most of my crew's pretty savory.
She licks one just to check. Yeah, not sweet at all.
Yeah, John's great.
That's one here.
I mean, that's
so
like
wrong.
He tastes like tomato bisque. It's great. She goes, yeah, no, my crew's wonderful. They're amazing. I mean, look how great this ship is. I mean, due to all of us working together.
But I kind of wanted to be like a scary sailor so that they could tell me scary stories. It would have been. I don't know. I'll find some at port.
Well, I mean, we tell scary stories. We can share some scary stories. That's something we can definitely do.
We should do it tonight.
Sure. We still got plenty of rum and we got plenty of food and plenty of time and yeah, that'd be a nice calmer thing. I'd share some. I'm sure some of the fellas would like to share some of their stories they've heard at sea.
Well, I can't wait. You really are the best captain.
Oh, yeah. She kind of just goes back into her power pose.
Lights and rainbows.
Where then she immediately makes her face like very serious. Just creating this like awkward juxtaposition between like the colorful light display and her like attempting to be a serious demeanor with like her one bug eye. She just looks like she's trying to like stare down God.
Yeah. And after that, I will want to try to find Temper.
You won't be able to find him. He's gone.
He cast water walk.
While looking for him, then while someone else does something.
Yeah. So what is anyone else doing anything with this day?
At some point, I need to talk to Temper, but
Everybody's lining up for Temper.
yeah, well, there's business to discuss.
All right. Anyone doing anything not with Temper? Rowan, Grit, Duhigg?
No, I'm not doing anything of note.
No, I'm relaxing. and keeping an eye out.
Okay. How about you do, Hig? What are you doing on a ship?
She's a pirate.
Pirate ship, man. You would understand.
There you go. Dude, Hig's just like somewhere randomly as an NPC on the ship, just enjoying it.
I've got a blank piece of parchment that I'm studying intently. Nobody knows why, but I do. None of you know why.
Somewhere on that sheet, there's some invisible ink, and you'll be able to read it if you stare at it hard enough. Oh.
You're the unsavory folk I'm trying to meet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're waiting on Temper, so we'll wait on that. Oh wait, he's back. Darn! I was
He's
about to
ready.
enchant you guys with singing another sea shanty.
You can raise the anchor. I'm ready.
So we're gonna have Calvin have your conversation first, since Ori just did a little bit, and then we'll bring in Ori. So, Calvin, well, Temper, what are you doing today? Are you doing the same thing prior, where you're just like spending your time sketching?
I would definitely be doing that a bit, and then at some point, I would find Nemi, and we don't have to necessarily roleplay the whole conversation, but I would find Captain Nemi and show her the model ship that I bought. That is a likeness of hers, and ask her to point out any inconsistencies in the model that she can identify.
Oh, she brings it. She's like, "Oh, that is so cool. Kind of weird that you have it, but that's awesome." She looks at it. It's like, "Oh, it's so nice." And like before you even ask for like inconsistencies, she just starts prattling off incredibly like minutia detail that's missing. Like,
And I will be taking mental notes of all of that.
yeah, like she just immediately starts going into it, like just like particular things. She's even like mentioning where like they have like she's like there's like a in the model there's like a little cut, and she's like no, it's not there. It's gonna be about 2 feet back from there, and it's gonna be there, and like things like that, like things that are like that you wouldn't that like if you gave this to anyone else in the ship, they probably wouldn't even have noticed, but she just meticulously gets into it and the detail and the finer details of it, and eventually she's like, "But this is so well made and it looks so good." She's like, "Oh, where did you get this from? Who sold this to you?"
I'll be honest. I don't think I caught the gentleman's name.
Well, this is really neat. I would like to probably at one time get one of their works like this.
I saw them and asked if they had your ship, since I knew we were setting sail on it, and they did, but I assumed they wouldn't quite know as well as you what this ship looked like, so I figured I'd get first-hand knowledge so I could correct those mistakes.
She's like, yeah, she's like, they did a really, really good job. I think this was probably based on the ship from like 2 years ago, before it was in my hands. But yeah, like they did an awesome work. If you
Oh,
really,
you mean to say this wasn't always your ship?
because no. She's like, this is not my first vessel, and I am not her first captain.
But hopefully it's last, right?
Yes.
I realized after I said that could be misconstrued. I just meant that you would have it for a long time and retire it, not that you would die horribly in a ship accident. I'm gonna go.
No, it's okay. I understood you meant no ominous pretense. Wow, ominous pretense. I sounded so smart saying that. But yeah, I just had to think about it. So, but yeah, no, I get the question. I totally do. And yeah, I hope that I am with this ship, and this ship is with me for a good long time, to where we can retire together.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
preferably.
I appreciate your well wishing and your good positive energies. It's more than welcome.
Well, you know me, Mr. Positive Energy.
She goes, yeah, that's why I like you. And she kind of like gives you a little like nudge on the arm, and then juts off. And I think with that, Calvin, you'd find Calvin walking up towards
Yeah,
you.
as I go back to the room to put away the model.
I'll duck in after you. At some point, I'd like to hear more about your time as a guest of Jarlaxle.
What for?
Any bit of info I can glean about the bastard?
You know he's a bastard. I'd say you're a pretty good start.
Yeah, but knowledge is power. Obviously, if you don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to press. Well, that's probably not going to end up being true. I'll ask again, but...
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I will... I looked for you, you know. Tried to track him.
Did you now?
Mhm.
Well, you found me.
No, I didn't.
Congratulations.
You definitely just came back.
I suppose that's true. Kind of a shitty detective.
Yeah. Batter Jarlax was just very good at what he does. And our skill sets were not equal 4 years ago. I have my doubts as to whether or not they're equal now, but...
So did I. That's why I hit you in the face with my hammer.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, I did heal you first, so at least I gave you a fighting chance. Could have just been a dick and done it before that.
Yes. Well, as you're blatantly aware of, I work best when I'm not the sole target of aggression.
Well, I'm very aware, but it was you being the sole focus of aggression that led to my temporary demise before. So, needed to make sure that you weren't going to crumble like wet tissue paper again, if that were to happen. And at least this time you put up a bit of a fight first, so progress.
Indeed.
But to be fair, I wasn't actually trying to kill you. They will be, so I'd be best if you were on your A game.
Kelvin just kind of drags his hand down his face. I've been trying it for the last 4 years.
Well, don't stop now.
Never. I'm glad you're not dead, Temper. And he'll kind of stand there awkwardly for like a half a beat and then pivot and leave.
The awkward tension is so high. The awkward tension is so high.
I'm sure it will only dissipate quickly and be totally great. As soon as we make land, we'll just be the best of friends.
We were the best of friends when we were friends.
Yeah. That was my funniest thing from Virginia from the end of last game, and she's like, "Man, Temper he doesn't seem to like us very much." And I was like, "I don't remember Temper liking you a lot before. I was never the nice one."
Yeah, it's to this day I'm still not entirely sure how that group, why the fuck that group decided to keep doing what it was doing.
I'm kind of wondering why this group is doing what it's doing.
I mean, no, this one makes sense. We all have greater
Yeah, that's fair.
linkages that are pointing us in this direction from outside of the group itself.
I mean, I just brought you out in the middle of the ocean, so when I kill you in your sleep, I have an easy place to dump the bodies. So,
Yeah. You have made it very hard to figure out what I'm going to do with my next 2 ASIs, because I really feel like I need alert.
Have you ever had a character that you don't feel like you need alert on?
To be fair, I want alert on all of them, but it's a nice feat.
Surprises are fun.
Surprises are pleasant, unless they're party wiping.
I'm probably going to let it pass because rogues eventually are incapable of being a surprise while conscious anyway.
Yeah.
Can't get advantage on them.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for the day.
Yeah. Temper would just write down those mental notes about the corrections to the model, and then just go about his normal business.
Or he's going to come find you.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, sure. I'll be on my bunk in my notebook.
I'll walk in. May I join you for a bit?
Certainly. What can I do for you, Lady Amastacia?
I feel like every time I try to get off on the right foot with you, it goes horribly. I'm sure I'm mostly to blame for it.
To be fair, I don't think many people have the ability to get on the right foot with me, so don't take it personally.
Well, I wasn't. But I believe we're the only two with any sort of magical means in this little group we have for now. I would like to get along with you. I have no problem with you.
Because I do magic.
Well, because we're both... She is taking a long pause. Because I understand everyone else in this group. I know it motivates them. I don't understand you. I don't fear you, but...
Maybe you should.
Well, if that's the case then, and that's really how you feel, then there's no reason for me to even try then now, is there?
You can do whatever you'd like. I have no control over what you do or say.
No, but you have control over... We're getting off on the wrong foot again.
I told you, it happens with everyone.
What I'm trying to say is that I have no ill will towards you.
And I will return with that I have none towards you. But I'm not here to make friends. I'm here on business. I'm not even here to have brought you all along. I didn't even know who you were until 2 days ago. The fact that you came and joined in on this mission is fine. I'm not going to oppose it. It's already in motion. But I won't get in your way if you do not get in mine. Other than that, we are travel companions until this quest is over.
That's fair. Just know that I do have your back, should it ever come to it.
I would say I have yours, but you seem to have a problem with me touching you, so that might be complicated.
Well, if I'm dying on the ground, I would appreciate the assistance.
You were dying standing up when I tried the last time.
A bit stubborn, but you know what I mean.
I will give you assistance when I can if you accept it. If you choose not to, it won't be any sweat off my brow.
Ava. Ava boo. You're sniffing that baby.
But trust me, I know how beleaguered you were after that last encounter and that disease coursed through you. If I wanted to have done anything to you, ended you, I would have already done it.
Papa.
Of course. And if I wanted to kill you after you had hurt Calvin, I could have.
Probably so, since you are a practicer of magic.
So, with our dick waddling out of the way, I hope we have an agreement.
Now we have two things in common, it seems.
I have many surprises. I'm going to reach into my bag of holding. I'm going to pull out a
Duralaxle.
Crocheted Duralaxle, but still.
It's gonna, the lighting in here I'm assuming is kind of difficult. I'm gonna pull out some black sort of rod object. I'm gonna toss it to you, and I'm gonna be like, here, you seem like the lonely type. I'm going to leave. It is a cast of an orc penis.
Of an orc penis?
Yes. Full replica sized orc penis, and on the bottom of it, it's going to have Orleg written on it.
Is it a nice
And
orc
what?
penis?
JG, roll a d20 and I will add Orleg's charisma to it.
God.
Is that the mechanical process for this?
At this moment, yes.
For this reason and this reason only.
I rolled a 12.
I mean, it's fine. It's
Lord's penis.
I wanted this to continue, so I didn't interrupt. I just meant the quality of the cast, not the actual penis itself.
it's fine. It's a normal penis. It's a perfectly fine cast. And there's a few blemishes around the base from where it was cut out. But there's nothing odd about its casting nor about any aspect of its shape.
Temper will just look at it for a minute. Decent craftsmanship, and I'll set it next to the model.
Whoever made it knew what the fuck they were doing, but yeah.
Is this like a hooded situation, or is the statue wearing a turtleneck, or?
That's gonna be a DM call.
I mean, if you're asking, is it circumcised? The answer is no.
No, I was asking if there was literally a turtleneck sweater over top of this.
Oh, like this is a real one, an actual one?
Yeah, with sleeves and it. No, yes,
Yeah.
of course. Asking if it was castrated.
Yeah. If it was castrated? Is that what you just said? 'Cause that's a whole different topic.
No, I said how it's casted.
Oh, I said is it castrated? And I'm like,
No.
well,
How it's casted. If it was castrated, he would have handed me nothing.
I mean, no, he would have just had. If anything, you just would have found the actual model inside.
Oh, got it. Bless you.
But like, what is the particularness of your question for this?
I was
dick
just
mold?
just kidding. It's just a joke. The man handed me a dick statue. What do you want me to do with this? Yeah, I'll just ask random ass questions.
I don't know. Ask him and not the DM. That's what I want
did,
you
and
to
then
do.
he said it's a damn question.
All right.
But yep, my rest of my day will be spent beginning the corrections on the model and ignoring the dick statue. Respectfully.
Respectfully. All right. Anyone else doing anything with the day?
No, you said it was pretty smooth sailing, so.
Yeah, no, it was a great sailing day. You guys, at night, Captain Nemi will give everyone applaud as she says that they've caught the winds and and that they're ahead of schedule and things are traveling fast. It'll be a much tamer night. As you'll sail through it. And Ori, you are able to meet with a few to share and share in some stories. And before we call game, we will have someone else roll for the next day.
So,
In the evening, I'm chucking another gold piece off the back of the ship.
Okay. All right.
say 7.
A 7.
More than last time.
Because of Carl chucking a goal, will you roll another d10 for me?
That is a 9.
All right. So the next day will be clear sailing.
Boo!
Let's go ahead and roll a third day. For day 3, will someone else roll a d10?
I got it.
All right.
That's a 10.
Oh, that's gotta be a Leviathan or a Kraken. Come on.
Oh,
All right. On
it's like Turtle Dragon.
Yes, that.
on
Yeah,
the
or something better, either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
on the next day of sailing, things are going pretty smooth. It's another just nice bright day, good winds, and in the midst of sailing and whatnot, the ship will suddenly get just rocked. There'll be a large noise, and the ship will shake. A crew member will fall overboard, letting off just a bit of a sharp scream, and then you'll start hearing just a rapid succession of several screams off the bow. And for anyone who goes and sees, he has been swarmed by great white sharks.
Gee.
And with that, you can see from the side of the boat, a great white shark is ramming the ship. There seems to be a pack of 5 great white sharks that are attacking the ship for some reason.
I'm going to shoot a firebolt down.
We're gonna end the game there.
Yeah! We're getting attacked by Aquaman.
They're going to need a bigger shark.
There's always a bigger shark.
So, so we will start next game with dealing with the combat, which is the ship and you versus 5 giant sharks.